Hello?
Oh, hold on one sec. Then you hear me?
Are you hearing through space?
I will not lie to you. I have no idea where I'm hearing you through.
All right.
I don't think I'm hearing you through the space at all. Actually.
Here's the thing. All right. You leave the space on the phone.
Then are you hearing me again? All right, one more time. Then are you hearing me?
All right, so yeah, I'm hearing you. I
Perfect.
was
All right.
hoping to get it working on the desktop. I think the audio comes through on the desktop for me, but I can't join as co-host on the desktop for some reason. Are you hearing me? Yes.
Oh no, I'm still hearing. I think you're hearing an echo.
Okay, yeah, that's the desktop. So I was trying
All
to
right.
get it to work, but
You can actually join as co-host on the desktop. If you
I kept pressing it and it wouldn't tell me. It won't actually make me a co-host. The accept is there. I press it over and over and over. Not sure why, but yeah, it seems to work on the desktop up to a point. Are you on the
All
desktop
right.
working, making it work?
Yes, I joined as a co-host on the desktop. Granted, I'm
But
talking to you from my phone, but still on the desktop, I did accept as a co-host.
and could
But it don't matter because the the people can hear us and the audio for the YouTube and the video will also people will be able to hear us and see us also. So
all right.
uh, I think so. I hope so. Let's see what people say on YouTube.
Well,
Um,
hmm. If I can get my audio on the desktop, then everything is solved. Well, yeah, we can worry that out another time.
yeah, I'll just for now I'll put the whole audio on the desktop so everybody can hear it. Hopefully. Hi everybody, welcome to a messy start for this week's BrickTalk. Bear with us a little bit, please. We usually have this happen almost every time, so we'll figure it out.
I was about to say,
uh,
as is tradition.
yeah, as is tradition. You want to have an early conversation while we figure this out for the next few minutes, send a speaking request, and you can maybe set the tone for the whole episode. Who knows? Say a welcome, and yeah, send a speaking request while we sort out the last of these, hopefully not so bad technical issues.
Boy. I mean, they've made progress since we've been gone, so
Yeah,
props to them. Hopefully, more to come, and we can fully get this thing running properly with as little problem
yeah,
as possible.
yeah. You might try on the desktop. Then you might try a hard reset, like hard refresh for the page. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll get that. Let me do that. So I'll go on the desktop. It's not showing me or you as co-host on the desktop. So I'm a phone I see us as co-host on the desktop. I do not. Okay, you're co-host on the desktop. I'm not co-host on the desktop.
That's strange.
Not
Because
fair.
on my desktop, you're showing as co-host.
I'll go on the desktop. It's not showing me or you as co-host on the desktop. So I'm a phone I see us as co-host on the desktop.
And whatever you have us on now is one of those
Yeah,
things need to be muted because we get an echo.
yeah, the desktop. I'll say close the desktop for now. I'll split on my phone.
Okay. All right, so I don't you guys have any dead space, like I said. So hi guys, welcome. Sorry about the messy start. Anybody have any early points, any early thing you want to talk about? This is a great time to do it. Otherwise, you might just hear dead space and then and I clicking around. So if you have any early questions or anything you really want to get off your chest or get us started on, no, it's a great time to send a speaker request and we will talk about it while we sort this out.
I guess nothing interesting happening in the market today.
At all.
Boring day in the market, guys. No companies traded down heavily at a bag of shares.
Did that actually happen?
I don't know about traded down heavily. I wouldn't say traded down heavily. But a lot of shares on everybody's favorite stock over the last 2 weeks. NCB, almost 200 trades.
Ah, almost 200 trades. Wow.
Yep, 193.
Wow. In big blocks, as usual.
No, I mean some fat blocks, but for the most part it was small amounts. But small amounts in NCB is still a good amount of money, eh? So no, I don't know if that's so nowadays. The stock is at $30. But
Yeah, boy.
the ByQ has 10 trades left when last I said that on NCB. 10 trades in the ByQ.
A couple weeks, a couple months back or weeks back,
Yeah,
I should say.
2910 is the highest by order.
Mm.
90,000 units in the ByQ.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
That's actually
1 point, almost 1.4k units traded today.
mhm. uh,
So wait, everybody hearing us? That's a question I should ask.
I do think everybody's hearing us. I think no, I think
No, no, no,
nobody.
no. Just check it because I saw somebody say silent. So just checking.
Oh,
5 minutes ago, the person said silent. Such person, could you confirm whether or not you're still hearing silence? Okay. This person is my second favorite listener, by the way.
word, who that?
The boss man, the Trini boss.
Oh,
I'll get in trouble if I put her as first.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, guys, I'm really, really sorry about the sound being uh less than desired. Um, I don't know what to say other than that. We're trying to get it sorted. And the whole sound picture situation. But hey, usually it's an easy chance for you to get some easy points in. I see we have Shay joining us. Shay, how are you doing?
So, I'm
Hey,
only at,
I'm good. I just got off the road, so I'm just getting settled. But yeah, man, I'm good. I'm here.
I thought you were going to
Hope we
say
can have
Rich.
a nice, lively discussion. That would be great, right?
I
I
thought you were
hope
going
so
to say
too.
Rich Shay as a response.
Pardon?
I thought you were going to say Rich.
No, I leave
Sure.
that to you. Yeah, but yeah, man, everything good. Uh, it's been quite an entertaining couple of days.
There's a good week for you in the market.
Yeah, can't complain. It's been a good week. And it's been entertaining. So can't ask you more than that, right?
Indeed. I would say indeed, but
Mhm.
I think us on the market always want more, eh?
Yeah.
True. But also I've been spending less time in the market for a little while.
Mhm.
So to just drop back in at this, it's been great. It's been a nice return.
All right.
Hmm.
Love that, love that, love that. And a good return for us as well, you know? It's been
Facts, facts, facts. Hmm. How are
but,
you? How has your week been? Have you been playing in the market as well, or yeah, easy on the
yeah,
other?
here and there, not much. I'm certain not as much as you are. I didn't do any other jumping around, just very small trades and then go on business.
As
I'm not much
a
of a
as a
striker.
as a
I'm not much of a
as a
striker as you are.
professional. Mm,
I still find myself doing much less of the short term than a couple of
oh,
years ago.
definitely. I've
The
I've
BrickTalk
I've
days,
for
the
sure
early
cut
season
back.
days.
Hmm. For sure cut back. Is that a function of where your life is right now, like what you're doing or whatever, or is it like that you changed your? I remember Lopo was talking about that last week. Just his lifestyle right now can't really accommodate that. So
Hmm.
is that, what's going on with you, or you just decide to, yeah, ease off, or what?
No, no, no. I wouldn't say it was I would say it was a boy decision ease off. It was, yeah, I think largely where my life is and was. The
Mm-hmm.
truth is that I'm sure I can do a lot more the short term. So, and the
Mm-hmm.
plan is to get more of that happening. But right now, yeah, I think I'm somewhat. How would I say it? You build a habit. You were
Mm-hmm.
at a place, you were doing a lot of the same thing. You're doing something for a long time, and then when
Mm-hmm.
when when things kind of change for you, and you have more time, and you can be looking at certain things more, you don't read the shift as yet. Which is, I think, is
I
a
get
good
that.
thing generally to speak about in the market.
Mm-hmm.
Flexibility and where you are, recognizing that you can probably do more and doing more.
Mm-hmm. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I had to do that one day. I was for a while not in, what should I say? Yeah, it was kind of like you, where it was just my life was I was doing different things with my life, and
Hmm.
I just trading wasn't conducive to trading.
Hmm.
Just quite simply, um, especially anything like big risk,
Hmm.
because the back end work Randy always talk about is more if you're going to be doing it short term,
Oh,
and you're
definitely.
going to be looking for money like all the time,
Hmm.
returns continuously all the time, or whatever. It's going to take more work on the back end,
Hmm.
and I wasn't interested in doing that at that time.
Understood.
Yeah.
I think
And I think you're right. It's an important conversation to have. Your life has rhythm. Your life has different parts to it, and sometimes this part is just not going to be at the forefront.
Hmm. I think, especially about people that don't live in the market as much as we do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
definitely different. I think also that how would I say there's also the portfolio push, and that's something that you don't hear a lot of people talk about. Most you can understand why, because of how it might be taken, construed, misconstrued.
Hmm.
Um, but as your portfolio changes, like if you're actually doing it, are you in for a
Mm-hmm.
while, your portfolio should grow. And
Hmm.
as your portfolio
Mm-hmm.
grows, it forces you to adapt. It forces you to
Yeah.
adapt how you do.
That too.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I was talking once to
Remember the
somebody.
big money grower.
Yeah, yeah. I was also talking to somebody, I don't know if I mentioned it at that girl or that advanced girl, but I was talking to somebody who used to have a lot more money than I do. And I always
Mm-hmm.
joke about how, it's the same thing. I always joke with I was the same thing to hear all the time, right? 10 grand, boy, I wish I had more money.
Oh
100
yeah.
grand, boy, I wish I had more money. A million, I wish I had more money. 10 million, I wish I
Mm-hmm.
had more money. 100 million, I wish I had more. And you talk above those levels and you hear the same thing, right? Like I'm talking about when you actually talk to those people. You hear those real
Mm-hmm.
conversations, the things around the side. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny, it brings me to like a psychological point
Hmm.
about what rich actually is, right? It's another point that I often talk about, what rich actually
Can be
is. So
comfortable.
so that's funny. Well, that's two different points. I mean, maybe not go into it too
Yeah.
much just yet, but just that it's not a tattoo. It's not a button you press and you're there and you're rich now and that's it. I've made it. It's not the end of the
Yeah.
race. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
is. Yeah, the reality, the real story behind it is that it's work. It's not magic. It Money is not magical. You don't just have a made up thing. It doesn't stay. You have
Hmm.
$1 million and you spend $1, you don't have $1 million anymore.
We don't have $1 million anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
No longer a
Yep.
millionaire.
Exactly. And it as much richer people and all of us here know, as we're all seeing, the pressures never stop, do they? The pressures never
Hmm.
stop.
You, co-
Um,
you get pressured differently and at a way
Mm-hmm.
different level.
yeah, same pressure, different clothes.
Yes.
Yeah. Same pressure, different clothes. Yeah. So just bring it back to the first point that as your portfolio changes, also it forces you to adjust what you do, how you do it, good and bad, and so some things do have the same impact. The first time you double the 10 grand, it's amazing. First time you double the
But
100 grand, it's amazing. The first time you double a million, oh my God. Um, but you don't get opportunities to double a million every day.
Yep.
no, you do not.
No, yeah, and the opportunities to double a million
But I also don't want people to take that in the wrong way. I mean, every day because doubling the million doesn't necessarily mean it's a 1 day situation.
One day.
You
Mm-hmm.
can take 3 months and double the million. You can take a year and double the million. It doesn't have to be. But the things you do over that time, like
mhm,
it's not a one time. Boy, I make this one trade and a million double. It can happen, but it could also be you make more the same. You could make in some of the same smaller trades you were making at 100 grand more
mhm,
than once, and then the million doubles over that time.
mm,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
That's true.
I often find a lot that people want to do everything in one jump. It's not a increment situation. It's what's the trade that's going to get me to where I want, and they look at it as a one trade situation. They want to hear one trade that's going to get them where they want
But
versus
we like simplicity. We like
even if
yeah,
the
one
world
step.
don't,
that's
We
true.
don't like
That's
multi
people.
steps.
yeah, even if the
That's true.
world don't work that way,
The
we
world
like
don't
it.
work so.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
Even if the world don't work, so we like it. It's funny enough, a same person said something. Yo, I don't know. I find I learn the things that I learn very much by the wayside. Like, it's not what your parents teach you, like them said them teaching you that you learn more of. It's really what them do that you learn
Mm-hmm.
more of, right?
Hmm.
And how,
I,
right? How to
yes,
Yes.
oh yeah. You learn when you're not learning, and then but
Hmm.
when you're not, you learn more outside of the lessons at school, as we all know.
Hmm.
mm-hmm.
Hmm. And
And and that not to call you, but that specific point stuck with me and has stuck with me because I see it more and more in so many things where that same person made a little side comment about it's another complete other conversation, and like somebody saying something else, and they're like, well, I think they said, well, I like reality, right? And then for a second, I was thinking about, I don't know if as a person talking, I was listening, and it just occurred to me that how much like we talk in ideals,
hmm.
and like, yo, nobody told you that this is how it worked. You just decided that it worked this way, and then you're vexed with the reality for not being this way.
Hmm.
And if you get enough money and power, you can change things to be your reality. But
Mm-hmm.
until then, you kind of work with reality, or you
Yep.
can cuss, you can complain and cuss, and see how much effect that will actually have. But in the real world, if you want to have the real effect, you have to work with reality, right?
Yep.
And on the market, the same thing comes out every day. You can talk about the market and cuss about the market and say it should be a certain way, but reality is going to win out, right? Reality is going to be the thing in the end that says, well, I hear you, but that's not how it works.
In a lot of ways on the market, we take what we're given. The thing what we get, the thing that we see, the thing that changes more often than not is
Mm-hmm.
you seeing what you are given. So it's you're reacting to situations, and inside you see something on the market. You look at the queue one day and it looks a certain way, and you say, "Boy, hey, you've seen it before, right?" That kind of
Mm-hmm.
situation, you've seen it before, and say the right cards line up in what's going on with that company. You know who's likely to buy it based on whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you make the trade. In another time, it might not look the exact same way, but it has to come at it has to come at you. It has to come to you in a way that you're not necessarily going to get up and do the thing that causes this big chain reaction and suddenly you're rich. Right? Like you're
Yeah.
looking at the market, seeing what's happening on the market. And even if you're doing something to cause some other reaction, at the end of the day, you were taking some stimuli. You had to see the market doing this thing and you do it and you make the move and then it works out for you. Where I'm going with that, it's a
Yes.
matter. At the end of the day, it's still a matter of learning. It's a matter of seeing the thing, doing the thing, versus boy. You're not gonna get up. You're not gonna be rich one day and get up, and suddenly the opportunities are open to you just because you have the money.
Oh yeah.
If you give me more money tomorrow, like if you
I'm not going to be better
walk
at
tomorrow
it.
and put 100 million in my account, I'm I've never traded 100 million before. On a
Mm-hmm.
one day big 100 million in my account just to go and do that. I've never
True.
done that. So
True.
me 10 grand not going to suddenly know how to do that. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
matter of why what you know. It's truly a strong learning process. There is no shortcut in my opinion. Like, that's a lie. There are shortcuts. You can take the learnings of other people, but there's a big deal in going and doing it yourself. It, I can listen to Shay, I can listen to Randy, but if I never ever make that trade, and then I have Shay money and Randy money one day, then it doesn't mean I know I can look at the market and know exactly what to do. At the end of the day, there's a large part of incorporating what you learn and actually doing it on the market.
I agree. And that it goes back to Randy's point about it being a process that doesn't end.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you acquire, you're going to need new tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You're
It
going
gives me
you're
another
going
spin on the market never sleeps. The market never
tricks is not a
stops.
good word, sorry. You're
Yeah.
going to need you're going to need new ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, you're going to need to adjust.
Yeah, one of the first things I see people do, they go from the 100 grand to a million, and they still try this. They do the I'm going to keep trading 100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand, 100 grand. They go from a 10 grand to 100 grand. They trade in the 10 grands, the 10 grands, the 10 grands. I mean, there are other reasons for that. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
finally reach a new level of money. You know how to trade 10 grand, so you keep trading 10 grand. But imagine if it's the same situation. You get 100 million in the bank account tomorrow. You never trade 100 million before, but you trade a million. Will you get up and just spend all it all on one stock? Will you get up and just make the trade, put 40 mil one place? It's not going to be easy. It makes me think about fund managers like US or everywhere. To be honest, like imagine you fresh out of school and you get a job at a trading desk to manage this hedge fund, right? And you hear say, "Boy, it's $1 billion on your table." Like even if you're interning for 2 years and you shadow somebody, but end of the day, where's that? There comes a day when
when
you
it's
this
when yeah.
trade on this money and you never do it before. What
Yep.
next?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's funny. The the and that happens in every job, you know. That happens in every job. That
Every
happens
job,
in
it's not
everything
just
in life.
trading.
Yeah.
There's context here for us. That's it. But there comes a point where you have to do that next thing. What's the step you're going to take now? We have this stronger responsibility. You have this new. It's truly a new playground for you.
Uh,
What do you
Mm-hmm.
do?
yeah. I remember the
You know
first
what I
time.
hated? Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Shay. It's a
I was
lady
going
story.
to say, oh, you know what I hated the first time I realized that if I do something with Toggle, it's going to affect the queue, how the queue behaves
Ah,
today.
yeah,
Woo,
man. Yes. Yo,
woo,
if you had the smaller
I
money, the queue is happening to
just
you.
because you know
woo,
what, I could have just go about my business and no one would care
Mm-hmm.
in the
woo.
past, right?
Uh-huh.
But then you get this responsibility where, oh, if me sell, why?
Woo. They might write about you. You might see them screenshot and send it. A certain shareholder.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not going to see my name.
Well, you don't see anybody name, right? Until it depend on who sharing it where who don't like you or who like you or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's a big deal. That's a big part of it. At,
yes,
at the end of the day, that's still people having their own lens and their own mindset and there's blinkers on everybody. They're looking at what they're looking at from their perspective. They see
yeah,
what you do in the market as a function of what they do in the market.
yep,
They don't turn around and say that guy's doing his own thing over there. It becomes what are you doing to the thing I'm doing?
yep, yep.
Why would this trade up? Why would this trade down? That's exactly the same thing. Of course, you would
Hmm.
trade up for somebody else because they're seeing something else. Because
Hmm.
my lack of information is not a reason in itself for something else to happen. Like I don't know that this company is doing this thing.
Hmm.
I never read the financials. I never read that last report. I never speculate in the same way on this bit of information that probably was nothing to me, nothing to you. But
Mhm.
when you see it,
And you
what you're going to
acted
look
on
at
it.
is not now going for the company. Why would it trade up?
Hmm.
Or this company is so bad. Why would anybody be buying it?
I have
Hmm.
another one. I've one for either of you. Have you ever, or maybe both of you, ch- uh, traded a stock or got into something on completely different, like for completely different reasons, and it both of you worked out, like it worked out for both of you, on for different reasons.
I don't know if it's completely different. I don't know. I'd have to, why I said I don't know because I,
Wait,
I
hold on.
can't
I
recall
think.
right. I don't
Hold
have a
on.
I don't have a recollection right now of that
When she
situation.
said, hold on, when she said completely different reasons, I don't think you mean like my reason versus your reason. Oh, wait, maybe you do. Is that what you mean, Shay?
Like
Like
how
my.
you like, for example, because we can look at the same situation and see
Mm-hmm.
different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever all right, for example, you always tell the story about the bottles that you were seeing the bottles everywhere and you were like,
Ah, the last score, the last
Yes.
score.
right, but then somebody
Yeah.
else could have bought for another reason. Oh, it's so
Mm-hmm.
hot, or I don't know.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know,
So
whatever reasons, and it could work
I've
out for
had
both
that,
of you.
but my
Yeah.
thought. I recollection for like other people like that. Like, oh boy, in a trade and somebody comes on BrickTalks and is telling me about what they think about the company and what they're
Hmm.
looking forward to it. And I wasn't, that's the thing I wasn't zoning in on. But like for
Exactly
Randy,
like that, yeah.
I've had situations where I buy a stock and then me and Randy go talk about it and whereas Randy have the same stock. And we
Hmm.
have intersections in why we buying it.
Hmm.
But
A lot,
if
yeah.
it's completely different, I don't know. But like
Mhm.
maybe him like hit
Well,
this other thing he
completely
might want that
different
I
is
never
kind
look
of
at.
strong, but I think it's possible for people to look at the same thing
Mm-hmm.
and see different things, perceive
All the
it in
time.
different ways, and then because of what you are paying attention to and where your life is and what experiences you've had, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you just see it differently.
Mm-hmm. A thing I
For
found often is the opposite. People
hmm
have people have complete opposite reactions on the same
facts.
information. You know, I remember
It
Fesco
happened
was a
last
big
week.
pivotal big deal.
No, no,
Why
well,
is it
hold
going up
on.
when there's a war over there?
Yeah, but Shay pointed out like something that, as I would say to you, it did happen last week. The exact same thing happened last week.
Hmm.
Right, Shay? What's the thing you're thinking of from last week, Shay?
Well, I guess generally people can look at NCB and say, oh, it's dead or whatever, and I saw opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about a conversation I had where somebody was talking about how about the lack of IPOs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And just so quiet it's kind of been on the JSC. And in my head, when they were talking about the offers that have gone so far and they were listing them, in my head I was like, wait, but that doesn't sound like a bad
But
thing, that like.
exactly, it's very rare that something is bad. Just like not. I say very rare. But when I
Mm-hmm,
say that, people will think of it and they will think of big topics. You could be a hit. And like, oh, this one big thing that happened. And, everybody know it was bad for the company. I don't mean like that. I mean, when I say very
mm-hmm,
rare, within the market every day there's something happening, and say IPOs not really coming and hitting like people want it to. That in a
mm-hmm,
vacuum isn't a bad thing. Like there we've spoken about how very often how the market, whenever an IPO, there's a time when an IPO comes out and the market wants to pause. Everybody wants to jump onto this new thing. Nobody wants to pick up any space for any
mm-hmm,
conversation outside of this IPO. And we found
mm-hmm.
opportunity just on that happening. There's
Yeah.
money to be
Yes,
made elsewhere just
good
on
point.
that thing happening. And boy, IPO come out, whatever, everybody jump in there. Boy, it's not gonna go down.
The
And the speaker
ripples.
on this terrible thing to happen to this company and to the people in
Yeah.
it. But we've spoken many times about how that's presented an opportunity.
Yeah, and
That's
how it
that's true.
continues to,
Continuous.
and
Yep.
here's the thing: most people talk about the market. We mentioned it last week. Most people don't come at the market from a perspective of knowledge or logic, putting it all together in like some complex way. Most people come at the market from a perspective of feel say, and then you look for confirmation bias. You look for the confirmation to what
Mm-hmm,
you are expecting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that just literally almost always gives an advantage. Not almost always. I find saying always gives an advantage to the people who come at it from a logical perspective. Because once you start thinking in terms of good, evil, good, bad, ultra terrible, ultra great, once you stop thinking in terms of that and start thinking logically, then the market changes. The entire market
Mm-hmm.
starts to change for you. Um, the thing I was saying about last week conversation was when that guy, I don't remember, I hope he comes on again this week. But that gentleman
mm-hmm,
last week was talking about, how he was excited, just like Diana, and I'm sure many of you were excited about the JPS, possible JPS
Mm-hmm.
IPO. And he
oh
Ah,
was,
yeah.
true.
yeah,
And say that information. We're looking at the same
yeah.
information. Different
He
reaction.
was
Yes.
he was looking on the news of the announcement of the current
Mm-hmm,
administration saying that they're not renewing the JPS contract. As boy, I
mm-hmm.
guess it won't IPO. No. Well, and as he said
Worries,
it, and
probably worries.
I immediately knew that he hadn't done grow, because once you do grow, I put a lot of energy to making sure that people know how that go, like understand what to look for, what not to look for, and how that news. It's so I don't know. It's something about news that immediately puts us towards the negative, right?
Mm-hmm,
Oh, we're not doing this, so it can't happen again. But who told you that the license had to remain for JPS to IPO?
I do. Yep.
Yeah. In fact, did
good
you have that
point.
idea 5 seconds before you read the headline that it was being
Mm-hmm.
cancelled?
That's a big deal,
It's a massive deal, but here's what I've learned. People get down that road from their feelings, and I'm also people, so I'm sure there are things that I go down the road like that
Mm-hmm.
with my feelings with too. And so I don't like I don't know the full way yet to have people see it. I've learned not to drag them back too quickly because they get the, it's an emotional thing because it's their feelings that carry them down that road.
Mm-hmm,
So you have to kind
mm-hmm,
of guide them back to the I would say the middle ground where you're talking about this thing from, with also with their feelings. Not always my best, my strongest suit, but it works. It works really well once it starts. I'm hoping that he comes on this because I'm hoping that he got, or if anybody else can come on and tell me they got what the pointers making. And then I was also making last week around that thing being like, yo, the the thing being cancelled, to me at least, looks was probably one of the biggest signs I've seen that it might actually
Mm-hmm.
IPO.
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And even
because
further, when they went further, Randy, when they went further and said, you know what, we might take it up.
we being who?
Government.
I heard that. I knew that was I take that as politician talk. You always have to sprinkle
Yes,
salt on when them
yes,
talk. And I don't
yes.
doubt that they may take it up, but I don't think they're running it again. I don't think they're repeating that mistake. I think we know, but I know it was one thing the government can do is run the power company. We've learned that over the decades. It don't matter which side you're on, you're really bad at doing that, right? Um,
And
so
it's also a political headache. Like
yes,
Yeah, I
there's
agree.
certain things, there's certain flag JC think JPS Tech, because I know the government don't want it.
of
The government don't want
course.
to say this is me doing this problem.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
also remember, if right now, not not to anybody who work at JPS. So one of the best people I know in the market works at JPS.
Yeah, man.
But if somebody at JPS thief, I saw them wicked and JPS did thief from long time, very rare.
Yeah,
If the
yeah.
government owns JPS and somebody at JPS thief,
Problem.
yeah, the government thief. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying that funny because government currently owns 20%, or
Uh-huh.
19.99% of it.
Yeah, but it's
But
not seen. It's seen very separately from them,
yeah, exactly.
and they make sure to speak of it as it's never the government causing this problem, until it's never the government's thing that's causing this problem. Uh, it's whenever things are good, you hear, yeah, man, how good JPS is, and
Mm-hmm.
how government is working in our favor with JPS. Otherwise, yeah,
Mhm.
you're not going to hear otherwise. It's never going
No,
to be the
I'm not
situation
taking
where they talk
on
like
that.
that.
Taking that on. Yeah, they are quick to separate themselves when
Yeah, man.
worries. Yeah, man. But
Yeah.
that won't be easy if then they, yeah, so that makes sense. Yeah. But another thing that came to me as Randy was talking about the feelings leading you down paths, and how if you just stay with logic, it's not easy. I'll say that. It's not
Hmm.
easy to stay with the logic, because you can learn what is likely to happen or what certain things mean, and you will see them, you'll see the signs, and you look right
Of
at the
course.
signs and be like, but maybe, and you're looking at the thing and it looks like what you think is happening, but then
Hmm.
there's that little voice in your head that say, well, it could
Yeah.
be something else.
And the truth
Yeah.
is that voice is very valid. That's a very good voice to listen
Yes.
to.
Yeah.
One of the
Mm-hmm.
scariest things, generally, I mean, with context here for the market, but generally, scariest things is not knowing where your biases lie. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what's the and it's often that feeling often presents for me when I'm seeing somebody else deep within their bias, and then I say to myself, what am I missing? Or what's the thing I'm doing that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
resembles this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really there's a reason they don't see. It's really hard to actually see that reaching
Yeah.
happening to you.
And
Mm-hmm.
like just to complete what Shay said, you see it oftentimes, but you immediately boxed aside. Like I don't want to
Mhm.
see. And
Your feelings don't
Exactly.
feel that. In the moment, your feelings do not
yeah,
feel like it's just a feelings thing. In
yeah,
the moment, you are being as far as your brain is concerned, you are being very logical about the thing you're doing right now.
100% logical. Why would
And
anybody be
why
selling
would
it
this? Why
at
would any
280?
do otherwise?
Yeah. What?
And that's a really good question to ask yourself. It
Yeah.
says it's not a problem, but the truth is, yeah, it's really hard to get up and see yourself and say, "Boy, yeah, man, the thing you're doing the thing because as far as your logic is concerned, that's the right thing to do."
Yes. Yeah. 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 And it goes back to the thing I said. The person on the other side of the queue
Yeah,
is
exactly.
not
Not an
an idiot.
idiot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're just you on the other side of the queue. Their own needs, their own wants, their own
Mhm.
story, their own knowledge. They're
Mm-hmm.
not evil. Chances are they're not evil. It take a lot for somebody to be truly. I don't know if I've ever met anybody who is actually evil.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think I meet people who
and also
are.
it is outside of maybe even if I call it again, like say you have a personality disorder that leads you to a certain behavior, you have
Mm,
some justification in your mind of why you're doing these things.
I get you. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah. And that's a good. That other side of the queue points a good
Hmm.
segue for me to just pause and say, officially, so just a bit of a late start, 1 hour in. Welcome to this week's BrickTalk, Q Mastery. Apologies for the really really rough start. Hopefully we'll get it smoothed out over the weeks to come. I'm Randy. That's Dana, the other voice you've been hearing. You're not seeing her. For those of you on YouTube, you can see Dana and I. The other voice you've been hearing is Shay. And welcome to this week's Brick Talk. I should always give the disclaimer, the nice disclaimer queued up automatically, but for time and technicality's sake, I'll just say it as usual. I am not an investment advisor. I'm not acting as an investment advisor. Nothing that's said on the podcast should be considered investment advice. You shouldn't buy or sell anything just because Dana or Randy or Shay or anybody on the podcast speaks about it or like it or think it sound good or whatever. At the end of the day, you need to sit and speak to a licensed investment advisor and have them advise you officially on your specific investment situation. If you're not willing to do that, everything else is gambling. And I don't gamble, I buy SVL, right? No, Danai is a licensed investment advisor. But while he's speaking on the podcast, he's not acting in that capacity. If you want to find you want to actually get advice from him, book him at danai.dhalladvisory.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
dhalladvisory.com, and he's
Same,
easily,
so.
yeah, man, ahead of the pack when it comes to advisory on the market. And yeah, please, if anybody didn't know that, know you know, and this continues throughout everything. And just as we've always said, and we'll continue to say, we are actually talking about things that we buy. Shay, big up Shay also. Shay Striker also actively in the market. So if you hear
Mm-hmm.
us talking about a stock, and we're talking about either we own it or we don't own it, or we buy it or we would buy it, or how we feel about it, or you think, yo, in my top all the time, so happy, I bet you in my buy. Probably. We are talking about things that we actually do. It's a personal podcast, is what we do. But to make it very simple for you, assume that we own every single thing that we're talking about, and we're either buying or selling it, all right? Because we're actually investing. And so, yeah, having said that, welcome. We'll talk for a little while. If you like the topic, if you like the point we're making, if you have something to contribute, if you want to ask us something, if you'd like to hear our views on something, this is a wonderful chance. You send a speaking request, and we will talk to you. If you're on YouTube or if you're just following along on Twitter and you want to send something, I think if you respond in the space on YouTube, we'll see it. If you send a message on Twitter, we'll also see it. In the YouTube chat, we'll also see it. And special shout out to the people in the Grow Subscribers group, who I definitely always have up here in the one side of my screen to make sure I pay attention to what they're saying. So yeah, welcome, and that's our disclaimer, and that's who we are, and let's go right back into it.
Right,
Sorry,
right, right.
I just had to get that out of the way.
But here's my issue as usual with tangents. Where were we, guys?
I know, wanna ask you were diverging people about which part we did reach. Um, Q mastery.
Q
All right.
mastery, yeah. I mean,
We
I
were
mean,
talking about I guess, the feelings part, the psychological part of it to
mhm,
some extent. Um, and how you can get led astray, I guess, by your
Mm-hmm.
feelings and locking on to feelings and hopes and dreams instead of logic,
that's
and what
true.
you've seen happen before. Because, like I say, I will, and this happens to me, which is why I'm able to say it. I will see something happening on the queue, and I'm like, and I'm watching it. I'm like, this will go down to such and such,
Mm,
right? And I may or may not act on whatever I think is coming based on what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing, what signs I'm seeing. It happens to me as well, so I know it happens to other people,
Mm-hmm.
where you can see the signs. I guess ignore the red flags and everything there. Same idea.
Yep. You, you,
Mm-hmm.
you get very easily lost in what you want. You
Exactly.
also get very easily lost in what you don't want. But
Mm-hmm.
it's very common to freeze on a trade. You plan from the night before. You say, I'm gonna do this thing,
Mm-hmm.
because this information, this news come out, whatever, whatever. And the moment you log in, that's when the second guesses start hitting. You say, wait there.
ooh, trust
It's not
me.
really work out.
Yes.
So X, Y, suppose nobody not really. You ever
Mm-hmm.
you buy something and then you start hear all the negatives. Why this thing happening isn't good or
Ooh,
whatever,
trust
or
me.
somebody else
Start
doing
shake.
somebody else doing the opposite of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the plan didn't work out and perfect and everything right, and it was so good here in the excitement. and know your influence to the point where, boy, maybe it's not so good enough. Hey, or at that point when you start thinking about when the negative or the things that you probably should have thought about before, you start
Mm-hmm.
thinking about it now. Like what are the bad things that could happen? What are the bad things that if you were thinking about it before, you probably thought about, okay, why how this can go wrong, and all the negatives, all the possibilities that don't really align what you want to happen in the stock.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the moment of the thing there. So as much as you're zoning on what you want, what you don't want is equally, and I would say if not more influential. I've spoken many times about how the fear factor in the market is your money, right? Your life. The fear factor is a big deal in. I think people respond to that more than opportunity. People typically, boy, this can go wrong, and they will act on their perception of what can be bad more than their
Mm-hmm.
perception of what can be good.
Strong response, very strong
Yep.
response. Yeah,
Yeah, very, very
that's
In
strong
true.
response. Sorry to cut you again. It's a good point that I cut in here. I realized my manners were poor. I mentioned Shay as if everybody know her. Shay, you want to introduce yourself properly to the people? Because I see so I see. Shout out to Arville. Arville on YouTube just asked who it was, who's the lady speaking. So,
Oh, Shay Miller. I've been a very what I must. I've been listening to BrickTalk since forever.
this is earning season.
Earning season. Boy, I used to love earning season. I'm not going to lie. I used to love when Randy and then I used to just chat. But you know
well,
what? I've been listening for years. I love investing. I got into investing on the JC and I've loved it ever since. I love it so much that I've had to find a way to work it into, what I went to school for,
Mm-hmm.
which is psychology.
Boy, it's not even
So,
school for the market then.
pardon?
It sounds like you went to school for the market, but let me not cut you continue.
Right? I just love it. I just love it. So I've been seeing, trying to see what I can learn. I just want to learn and enjoy myself. It's for fun and for funds. Yeah.
oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
I'm a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a psychologist. I'm a psychologist who very much loves investing.
Mm-hmm. I think there's a strong marriage between the two. Like the thing you
Oh,
look at
definitely.
in the market is what other people are doing because that's where you make your money. That's where you lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's what somebody going to do on the back of what I just did. I'm buying the stock. I'm selling the stock. Is that a good thing?
Mm-hmm.
Good thing is determined by is somebody buying or selling in my direction some point in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's funny how you said that, Danai, and so that is maybe one of the points. I think about it so much these days. Going back to the queue, the other side of the queue. And for anybody, for the beginners, I may also catch a beginner. So what's the queue? The queue is, you see on my screen, my money JA. The queue is the buy and the sell list for each stock.
Mm-hmm.
Every stock has it. Let me pick what the people's well, the people's love. I don't know if they still love it, but Trans Jamaica.
I love it
Of
in two.
course, bro, you're not CQ.
Yeah, I do see the queue. I don't know much people in there though, but I say
I
I
love
do see the
it.
queue. So the queue is the list, the buy and the sell list. And one of the beauties of the market in Jamaica is that unlike pretty much every advanced market, do you get to see the queues in Jamaica for free, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's not even condensed. I remember the first time I was talking to somebody from who spent a lot of time in the U.S. market, and they're like, "Wait, you can see
Right.
the queue? You can see the wait? You can see the whole queue?" I was like, "Yeah, you can see the orders and the move." And like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Blew their mind. And it's so funny how because of their background, because on the US market, it's not that you can't see the queue, you can see level 3 information, but you don't have to pay for it. And even then, it's condensed in many ways. And then because of how the US market works, they have all these different pools, and you have the dark pools, and then everything comes together under like the big umbrella. But when you click buy some Apple on the US market, you're not necessarily buying Apple from somebody else well, you are always buying Apple from somebody else who's selling,
Mm-hmm.
but it might not be me buying from Danai. In fact, it's very unlikely that it's me buying from Danai. Almost certainly, it's me buying from a market
A
maker.
broker.
Yeah, broker or market maker who is just supplying you this and eating off the difference, right? But so that's actually a blessing, believe it or not, of the local market. That one, we are hitting people. Not that there are brokers or unofficial market makers in Jamaica, but it is not like we're looking right now on the Trans Jamaica queue. Well, maybe Trans Jamaica is not the best option for regular non broker people. Let me pick another. What's people's real champion? If you're thinking of a stock that is probably not filled with institutionals,
Field. That's probably enough.
yeah, filled, right? Like Trans Jamaica, there's probably a lot of pensions, probably a lot of, we know definitely some brokers, probably a lot of pensions. Um,
Where would I find people? Hold on.
for regular folk.
Regular folk.
The honest truth is probably still a lot of regular folk in Trans Jamaica. So let me not beat that too hard. A lot of regular folk are still in Trans Jamaica. It is the most popular stock. It is the most heavy stock. So like you're seeing this, like this is the full buy queue. There are 218 orders to buy shares in Trans Jamaica. And on the sell side, there are 123 orders to sell Trans Jamaica shares, right? If you look at the actual totals of the thing, 123, I didn't have to go that hard. 123 to sell, 218 to buy. The 123 orders are 20.4 million units in all when you add all of them together. And the orders to buy, although it's 218, it's buying a total of 7 million. Now, the queue experts will know that, there's probably some icebergs in both of these queues. And there are very likely a lot of icebergs in Trans Jamaica's queue.
Yep.
But just looking at the surface of it, this is the idea of the queue. This is the idea of, as you see, make it clear supply and the demand here. On My Money JA, shout out to My Money JA, the official, unofficial, always constant sponsor, easily the best part of using the market. Yeah, it's not really possible to use the market effectively. I'd be a queue warrior, if you will, without MMJA. Just we go as far as colorizing the queues, projecting the queues. And I won't turn this into an MMJA ad, no, but just to give anybody who didn't know what the basis of like the title was, the queue, like what is the queue? Although go Vita grow, it is also good for you just to not be lost. So this is what we're talking about when we're talking about the queue. And then of course the idea of the queue can be widened, as you heard, to many other things, right?
Yep.
And so just to bring everybody on to hopefully the same ground. And as always, like I said, send a speaking request if you want to talk about something in a queue, whether it be a broader, wider psychological point or just a straight up, yo, I was in this queue and I've been making these moves in the queue and it helped me to make this kind of money, blah, blah, blah. Right?
The queue is very near and dear to me and Andy, like.
Oh, yeah.
I remember the days before the queue was popularized. I take out a personal credit and earning season. I wrote popularization of it because I remember walking into trading. Like I first just joined a trading group, want to know what this investing thing is because Bridget had put me on, and then I found out. I walked in and I had no clue how this thing exactly works. And I remember JSC, and we still have it. JSC's website had a ticker that scrolls across the top of the. And if something trades, then you're looking out for the trade happening. So you see where this. You don't even tell the trade; you tell the market price. So at any given point, if you're looking for GK, you have to wait. You need to go on the JSC app and see the market price of the market price of JSC of GK at this point in time today. So based on the trades that happen already, what the weighted average price currently is based on. So if nothing were to happen for the rest of the day in GKs, if no trades were to happen for GK for the rest of the day, this is where it closes. That's what you'd see at any given point in the day. You open the JSC app, you see that.
Well, I don't know if that's what you'd see. Wouldn't you see? You'd see like what the last trade was.
You saw the last trade?
I think that's what you'd see, like whatever the most recent trade in the thing was. But what I'm showing, and I'm going to swear to it, but what I'm showing on screen is what Dana is talking about, at least a version of it where you had to wait for this thing to go across.
Yeah. See, I haven't been on this side. Wow. So I'm looking at indices, but it would show like this is GK
No,
JSE,
it soon get to the stocks. I'm sure it's there.
and I don't think
Damn.
that, bro.
Let me
It's
not. Let me not put my
yeah, man.
pot
It's
on
been out.
fire for them.
But yeah, you used to see that it scrolls past.
Yeah.
And people wouldn't know if it's their trade go through. You put in a trade and you don't know it's my trade. You don't know that your trade went through until the end of the day. And most times it was JMB money line, and they would say order filled. And then
Mm-hmm.
you waited 2 days, and then you get full thing. Right, Clive? You get the ownership of the stock and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
that used to be the depth of information you get at any given time. And people used to talk about that. So people used to put in. I remember when IPOs come out, and you put in a trade, you see, you hear it, and they used to come and tell us that it's halted. You wouldn't know it halted because people were on day trade that didn't know that it was halted. Until JSC put out a notice, say, hey, the stock is halted for XYZ time,
Mm-hmm.
and you wait. And you don't know if it's your trade go through. You know, say me and you put in $2 for this IPO that does come in, and I put it in, and I don't know if it's me get it. I don't know if I got the shares. But I remember I was at VM at the time, working VM Wealth. And big up Leo Von Dylan. You probably seen sometime on Khalila's show.
Yeah, I know the name.
He
Yeah.
said, you can use this new thing. He never used it because at the time he was a trader, so most time he had direct access to the JSC's thing that the brokers get.
Yeah.
He can use the app, there's the app we have, and him sign me up. He showed me he sent me the page and I signed up for J Trader. And I click on the thing because I realized you could click on the number this side. So you can see the order. What was it? You see the order. You see the. I'm thinking of the old J trade. I'm trying to visualize it. That's funny. I've gotten so used to the new J trade. Right? But you could click the number. You see the number was highlighted in blue, and I click it, and I
Yeah.
see all the trades lined up, and I could not believe it because over a month, I'm seeing people try to catch
All the orders lined
what
up. Yeah.
it went through. I know what trades in there, and I screenshot it and I sent it in the group, and everybody ignored it except Randy. Everybody ignored it except Randy. Randy said, "Wait, what's that?" And yeah, it was people able
Yeah.
to see how much how much orders are there waiting to be bought and sold, which was the last order that was traded, how much trades happened for the day, how much how much units got across for the day, how much money in the stock trade for the day. It was brand new information and it changed the game in my opinion. I remember like, we weren't on advocacy. We were saying, yeah man, sign up for J Trader. We kept saying tell people and the queue was trade more and more and more. I remember people were it wasn't much thing that it wasn't much houses that had access to J Trader at that time. Was it four?
I think if you hear, I put some feelers out. Hopefully, we'll be able to get this story told a lot better. But they all had access to it. But yeah,
That, but
yeah,
not,
believe it or not,
but they weren't buy, they didn't buy into it. So it wasn't that you if you had a brokerage at it wasn't that if you had a brokerage at most houses you could access you could get up and sign for a J Trader.
I think only 3 or 4
Yeah.
houses decided that they were from the start that they were going to allow their
Mm-hmm.
customers to use it.
And I was
Um,
lucky to work that one.
yeah. And
What about you?
yo, that moment that I was talking about where I saw it, it's very few pivotal moments in your life you can identify like that. Because that's one of the moments where, from that moment for the rest of my life, like investing changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back to.
Imagine going back. I
I,
think
I
about
can't. I can't.
why. That would be madness.
Yeah, a large part of what I did with designing and building how my money JA works was around the same effect of it should be so good that you can't go back to it because it should be so useful. And that's the cue. The cue is so useful in
Yeah.
terms of active if you're doing even if you're not being an active investor. I hate using the term trader. Trades, I don't like that because I'm all
Okay.
investing. Trading is investing. But even if you're not doing the quick short term, you're trying to get in the same day or the same, even if you're just investing regularly,
Just that
or
information makes a
even
difference for you and what you're planning to
world
do.
of difference, world of difference. At the moment where you heard that I spoke earlier about, you can have all the ideas in your mind. When that moment comes to click buy, it's different. The cue matters. It
Mm-hmm.
don't matter what. I can't imagine clicking buy now without looking at the queue.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
remember the days when we were clicking. I remember IPOs and this thing halt up and you find out most people don't get the units and
Mm-hmm.
it was a big rush to get in
Mm-hmm.
and so little planning around how to get the units because people were just buying blind. So they didn't decide on. I remember people not understanding the circuit breaker, and I think that's a
Even now,
because
people don't understand the circuit breaker.
yes, but I
Yeah.
think a large part of that was being unable to visualize what's actually happening at this time. How this thing
Mm.
going to breaker pre-open and you can actually see the orders waiting to go in and you make a plan around that. There was no plan. Imagine IPO drop is the hottest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It opens at one and you had no idea about the $3 blah blah blah, the Chinese rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have
Shout
some,
out to Shanice.
but you want some units because
Mm-hmm.
you I can sell this thing at a nice price within a very short time. How you decide say how you decide what price to put into the queue. But what price you're going to enter and you don't see a queue. That was it. People were putting in $1 for this brand new IPO, and I remember something you were telling somebody say you're unlikely to actually get that, right?
Yeah.
But then it's okay. I can't get the one, but how do I determine what I can get? And we figured a lot around how the circuit breaker works. I just on looking at the queue and working around that. But
And also sealing a lot of the misconceptions that
yes,
is still difficult to break.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's so funny you say that though. It goes back to that earlier point about if you doing something that to other people who haven't done the research, haven't done the work, haven't bothered to understand it, or just think that you're wrong and haven't even bothered to listen to try and work it out for themselves to see to even just consider what you're saying. That
Mm-hmm.
IPO move and how it shifted strategies is one
Mm-hmm.
of them. Because even today, you remember when by the time it started to get normal for us to say like I have to give out too many of the strategies still. Not that I mean I hardly buy IPOs when they come out now, but and my strategy has shifted. But even saying something like I buy it at $1.50 or I buy it at
Mm-hmm.
$1.30 or whatever, and it, like that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Everybody trying to get it for $1.
Yep.
Even just the person go, wait, why are you trying to get it at $1? If the IPO price is $1, why are you trying to get it at $1? Who do you think is
Mm-hmm.
going to be selling you this thing that everyone is
Yep.
excited about
Yep.
for $1? Why would anybody sell you it for $1?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you start thinking different, like, okay, well, if that, why is that unrealistic? For me, I
Mm-hmm.
remember why I went down that road of going, well, if you're just thinking in terms of common sense, if you want the thing and people are obviously buying it at $1.20. No, if I'm willing to sell at, if other regular people are selling to other regular people at $1.20, then they'll sell to you at $1.50.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think of a different IPO that people are also excited about. And I remember how excited people were when it hit $2.20. I
Mm-hmm.
remember when it hit 280. And I also remember the day before when they were fine selling happily at $1.20 or
Yep.
$1.50.
Yep.
But the person who bought it at $1.50 is very happy when it hits at 280.
Yep.
And it's not as big. That person doesn't get seen as very happy or having made a necessarily a great move when it's at 280 because they're drowned out by the person who had it from $1, right? So at
Yep.
280, I'm looking at 180% raw profit. Plus, we still have the original thing, right? Money almost triple. So the person who's going, yeah, bought at $1.50. Nobody not hearing that. If that person is smart, they're probably not even saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what 86% profit.
Mm-hmm.
So
But then large with the reality was for most people, you're not getting anything at $1. If this thing is the same thing, if this thing is great enough, then you're not getting anything in the IPO. I
uh,
remember when buying an IPO was easy. I mean,
yeah,
after because I know that nobody's checking the queue. I know that nobody not really know the circuit breaker rules certain ways. So
yeah,
I put my orders and go to bed, and I
yeah,
know next 2 days all of my orders hitting because I remember we used to open the queue and I wouldn't speak after it's open at the time because I'm trying to make a trade, right? I'm not.
yeah.
There was out of the team and Randy talking one side and say, "Yo, look at that! We open the queue at IPO and a drove of $1 share orders on this $1 IPO. And we know none of us will be getting anything they want.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put in a nice order and just chill because we know where the thing is and whatever. But just understanding what the queue is and how it works, the rules around it, it was a next step into, all right, how do I get the shares I want? How do I make a determination what my profit? Think about that. You cannot plan profit at $1. You couldn't plan profit at $1 in an IPO. Because you put in your 1 mil and you get 10,000. I know 1 mil at a time. But you put in 1 mil and you get $10,000 worth of the IPO. And you're going to take the next 990 and try buy at $1 again on the first day of the IPO. That was, you were unrealistic. Like, you just never knew better because you couldn't see this thing that's in front of you that tells you how this thing actually works.
Yeah, but it's so funny how you're saying that now as if it's in the past. It's in the past. I think again, iron sharpens iron, and you
For some
know,
people.
yeah. For some people, iron does sharpen iron. For other people, iron is rusty. But for I guess maybe, and I take credit for this in keeping my circle sharp. Like if you never met mediocrity even possible to enter the standard, then we don't even realize that mediocrity is possible. And so we have conversations of, oh, I used to the things that people are doing now. People are doing now and looking at you weird for you to not do it. Think what was the last maybe the last two IPOs?
AHPC.
AHPC. Oh, that's a wonderful one. In fact, I'll come back to that. What was the one before AHPC? HPC was down to 79 today. What a blessing.
So IPO no good again.
Yeah, man. Market mashup. Omni?
Omni.
73.
73.
Oh, look at that. 79, Omni, 73.
Somebody was buying Omni just last week or the week before for 56 cents.
Yeah, that's one of the things. In the time, every time I talk to somebody, they're asking, "Oh, how things are the market? You don't, then I don't do that show anymore." And I tell them that, the market is great. It's still exciting. Yeah.
The market is, I think it's the same thing we talk about, just bringing emotions of how things are and their perspective into it.
Exactly.
I cannot find things in the way I used to find. The thing I was doing before doesn't necessarily work as easily because you it's funny too because I say that how the thing you were doing before doesn't work as easily, but then I know people that the thing they were doing before is still working. It's just at a different perspective. That I'm look from that I'm speaking of the outcome. So it's the action I'm taking based on the information and the approach I have towards it. Some people have been doing the same thing in terms of their approach towards that information. So their action is what changes. But some people, the action, they try to make the same action on different information. So things have changed around the market in terms of how things are presented, the kind of reports companies put out, and that kind of thing, right? And then, so they want to keep doing a certain kind of, I'll get up and buy this thing and it go up and everything nice and whatever, right? They want just think of like an IPO market in most people's head. I want to get up and buy the IPO, put in my order at 169 and then hope and it goes through and it go to 3 and it gone. But when that's no longer happening on the market, where the IPO is flying like that and I can stack the queue and it have a halt and na. If that no longer happens, then the action I was taking no longer makes sense. I start putting that 169 order. Hey, I get the units because everybody's saying that IPO price and below very quickly. I get the units, but my price is I bought at 169. I put in a 169, I get that $1. I know it's at 90 cents, no, it's at 73 cents. I'm in a problem. Versus somebody else that was looking at it and saying, all right, the information has changed, the market that quote unquote the market has changed. And so the thing I'm no longer going to do that thing anymore. I'm going to wait till it fall, and it's going to fall at a point where I'm fine taking it because I expect that there's somebody that's going to come and buy it up below IPO price, but to a substantial amount.
Well, here's the thing. That's that. Okay, so that there's funny how that works. You also touched on a little point there that a lot of people don't think about, right? Like I joke about it all the time. I say it all the time. If you don't grow, you hear me teach it all the time. If you don't grow, subscribers will hear me teach. Like we are in a market that is defined heavily by a lot of people who have no idea what actually sets share prices.
Mm-hmm.
No clue what sets share prices.
Yep.
And you can see it in their actions. You can see it in how they act. You can see it in what they do. Um, you find even in what they think is bad.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening? So like one of the controversial things I say is that the market is manipulated with literally every single trade. That's why I don't like the term
I
manipulation.
don't like I don't like term manipulation, but I think I've yielded to not saying that
Yeah,
because I know the connotations of it. I know what people I know what people think of it. We have
exactly.
we have an expectation. It's only used in a certain way in reality.
Hmm.
In
Hmm.
the market manipulation, we're only speaking about it within a certain bound. We're not actually saying we're not really. For me to use the word manipulated as the English version, that's not within finance jargon, I guess.
Yeah, and the funny thing is there it is. I mean, there is a full definition, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still touching too heavily on some toes,
Mm.
which is very difficult to actually manipulate. But some of us have managed to put together all of those little pieces to get written about. If you
Mm.
would leave that there. But yeah, I don't like the general term manipulation as it's used
Same.
because again, like I said, every trade
Because
quote unquote
I
manipulates the
feel like
market.
another thing I don't like about why I don't like it specifically is when because how people use it.
Yes.
They start doing a thing where everything that is normal, very normal things to them present as manipulation.
Hmm.
The bad, oh my god, illegal manipulation of the market because of a lack of understanding of what the actual manipulation is, and two, what the regular things that happen within the market is.
Exactly. And that comes back to Shay's point from earlier. As I was saying about the point I was making off what Shay said about not how at least on my part, how I try to address that is difficult because you're dealing not with facts here, you're dealing with feelings.
Yes.
And you can't shift people's feelings very effectively by telling them that it's not a fact. Because in the
Mm-hmm.
moment that they're feeling it to them, it's a fact, even though it might not go that way. The market don't care. The market is never wrong, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
feel it's a fact and you act that way, then you will lose because the market doesn't work that way. But if you want, at least from me, if I want people to learn and to understand in order to be better at it, then how I bring that idea across to them matters, right? So even like last
Mm-hmm.
week, I waited to end talk about and put in one nice little block I thought of the explanation of the whole
Public. What?
what is
Public.
public, yeah, what is
What?
public
Yeah.
data, and people can go back and listen to that if you want. It's also on the YouTube channel. You can go and listen to it to hear what I said. It's 100% factual. That's why I said it's 100% factual. Um, but it's a painful point. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to hear it. And
I've seen it ignored, and I've seen thing that and
yo,
I've
I
heard.
saw the JC's notice this week on it.
Yes.
It was a very
Masterfully
careful.
written.
Shout out to whoever JC wrote that.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Wonderful bit of
Somebody did their
misdirection.
job
As a lover
really
of
well.
Yeah,
words.
somebody did it.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Somebody did job. Yo, don't say love of words, cause Al, yo, how you feel about what he's
Also,
writing, that man is a
yes,
master of the language, boy.
masterful.
Jesus Christ.
What
Jesus.
Yep.
that one right?
Hmm. Yo, I was looking at
Ah,
both documents. Well, it's what, three now? And I was like, yo,
which
big up the writers.
thing
Bro.
why I hate why I hate radicalizing things is because I see the point missed so often, or
Hmm.
we get drowned out in everything except what is being said,
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
or
Hmm.
we get drowned out at the surface. So we I
Yeah.
can say there are things that are said that I feel are true in terms of what people have said about it, right?
Mhm.
But then there's no attempt to look beyond, to look more than that. So okay, you feel this way about this, and you're probably supposed to feel this way about this, based on whatever feeling he wants to bring across.
Mhm.
Then what more is said, and he's like, well, you try to rubbish everything there because you stop at the first part.
Well, yo, that goes back to him being a master of the language, in my view,
Yeah.
because again, yo, total credit to that guy. He,
Mhm.
I think I said it. I know I said it, in the after session I had with the girl grads in the group. But there are two articles in that article. He wrote. No, it is one thing if people act a certain way and they miss the point. It's another thing to write, knowing that most people are gonna miss the point,
Yeah.
and let me write something for them.
That's the thing. That's the thing I felt. It was, all people not going to get this. There's a lot of things that people get to miss out on top of this.
So I'm going to write for those people. Yo, that
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, he's
Mhm.
writing from the headline for the people who know him, not only going to read the headline.
Mm-hmm.
Him writing the salacious parts of the article for the people who know only going to get caught up in
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's the actual sense of the core in there that if you
Mm-hmm.
actually know how the thing works, you're like, God damn,
Mm-hmm.
he's laying out a very clear case. And then
That's
and
the
then
interesting part to me. I find that we don't. It's like we don't want to touch that part.
well, you know
I
it
don't.
go. You know it go.
I mean, people generally. I don't want. I don't think I want to touch out of that part publicly because I'm not interested in. That's He's interested in having that discussion. I am not internally,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because you get take your feelings and come to me, and
Mm-hmm.
there's no merit on either of our side to have that discussion. You
Mm-hmm.
can, I can vex, and we can go about our business at the end of the day, right? But that part there, it's there.
It's
And I'm
clear.
hitting no because I can. The more to be said is the part where, boy, I'm okay not saying. I'm okay not having that conversation with a lot of people.
Yeah, me,
Yeah,
me, I know what you mean. And I hate to do that with people. I hate to do that with people
yeah, that's it.
because it's not
Yeah,
nice. People don't enjoy that. But it's
you don't bring me there and then don't finish it, right? Don't come give me a
yeah,
half information, right? But
yeah.
truth is, people will feel them they feel, and I've accepted in a lot of ways. You're not really changing, as you say, not really changing minds on people's that are on things that touch people in them feelings. Like
Mm,
Warren Buffett's favorite book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's a part in it where he speak where what's that's he said this is the book he best learned investing from. He's one of the book. It's
mm.
a book. He says that when he read it, that made him a better investor.
Word.
It was the intelligent investor that got him in terms of investing. It was how to win friends and influence people. And a lot of one of the big parts there was around how you're not changing people's minds by criticizing them. You don't tell someone
Yo,
wrong and they say, "Oh, you're right, I am wrong," and then they go
Rotted.
yo.
That's crazy.
out of it.
Randy, remember that message, that little exchange we had
Which one
where
last
I
week?
was saying, yeah,
Oh yeah, where I said that I
yeah,
just went and did something
about
else and then it.
the how to communicate, and how when you communicate in certain ways,
Hmm.
it's not going to have the effect that you intended. It's
Yeah,
probably
Yes,
not
very.
going to have
Yeah,
that's
that
a big
effect
deal. Yeah, yep.
because we are naturally we resist commands, we resist we want to resist people who try to influence us. It's natural. So
hmm
Mm-hmm.
if you come at people and you're coming at them with something that challenges their belief systems or their feelings or what they want,
hmm
they're probably not going to just
And that's a big thing in
accept
investing.
what
It's
you're
not
saying.
funny.
Yeah.
We, I say, I don't want to intro. So I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find a way and a case where this doesn't sound as bad, but
hmm
we're not as bad. Those that don't want the toes, you know. But I know of a man. I think he's one of the masters of this market, and when he says certain things, people react, bro, and
That
it
that
often
it,
doing the thing that I think he wants to be done, while they think they're working against.
I also don't. If we think you're the same person, I say that's probably also another master of people. Yeah,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
think
I
about
knows how to
Definitely.
work in reality. He knows how to work
that's
in
why
reality,
Mm-hmm.
which is like
she did that thing that she did a degree in the market because at the end of the day, it's still people.
That's all it is. That's all it is. And
Yeah.
even that idea, I mean, I teach at Agro, even that idea, I see the visceral reaction people have to it. And you guys know me long enough. Danai probably knows me talking about the market. And this definitely one of the longest people know me talking about the market. So he's seen, like, I've gone to great lengths and in many different ways to try and get people to see certain things about the market. Some things people even just like you guys know how you do grow, you learn how I say the market works. And it's not how I say the market works, it's how the market works.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of how the market works to people when you lay it out to them is they have almost a visceral reaction to no, like no NCB. Look at it. I saw some of the tweets last week about. So what's the other reasoning for NCB to be so low?
Yes, and somebody said, why would it be? Why else would it be so low if
Yeah,
the fundamentals and the
and then like I know and I do that gravity for people explain fundamentals don't set the share price. Nobody gives a
funda-
damn about the fundamentals.
one fundamentals, as you always heard me say, I hate that word
Mhm.
because it it assumes a baseline of action for everybody. It says people on a whole or in large majority react to these set of things, and we know that's not the case. And there, and we also have what we call asymmetric information. Most people don't have the same level of information. There are varying levels of information across the market.
Mhm.
I don't know most people that buy. I don't know most retail investors are buying based on price to book or PE, but then we say that they do.
Yeah.
So
I
what
say I grow that.
about that, right? So
Yeah, I
but
call it the Dr. Chair effect. I call it something else I grow, but I call it the Dr. Chair effect. You're sick, especially us as men. You're sick.
Mhm.
You sneeze, you have flu, things were rough. Right up until the moment where the doctor goes, okay, Mr. Rose, so I see it here. What's happening with you? Suddenly, I'm not. I didn't even feel sick. No, I had a sneezing outside. But suddenly, once I hit the doctor and he start talking to me, I don't even feel sick no more. I don't
good.
understand what it is. Yeah, man. The same thing happening anytime you're talking to anybody about finances and also investing specifically. Everybody becomes the most responsible person in the world. Oh
Mhm.
no, but the price the book is blah blah blah. Well, the
Being
BOJ's interest rate is blah blah blah.
part of my struggles. I'm the doctor. It's like if
Yes,
somebody comes off me who while telling me the problem they have with themselves around investing, simultaneously
yeah,
rate they are in what they're doing
and
around finances and their investing. And then
yeah,
I watch that duality play out in their actions more than their words.
yeah. A large part of what I teach at Grow is how to like I say it's the second most important thing in investing. That honesty. Because
Honesty.
you're going to revert to what you really want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, you want to know who is selling at $2. See, it can go to three. Who's selling at $2? The people who, when they're buying it at $1, said that they were long term. That's that's who. Nobody sells quicker in the short term than the long term people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it goes back again to just understanding that it's human beings
Boy,
that
do
you're
I know
dealing
it.
with. Huh?
Boy, do I. Boy, do I know it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You would know it
And
too. Yeah.
very
That's
often I
what.
see people hold on. They so like in action, a lot of people are very passive. They don't want to pay attention to them invest. They don't want to pay attention to the market. They want to
Mhm.
learn to pay attention to the market. The truth is, easy money feels best. I want to buy this thing and then tomorrow I turn around and I can sell it and be bingo, right?
Mhm.
But if you start making a plan of most people, what they've done, typically they buy a stock and they forget.
Mhm.
And then now it comes sometime on the line where they say, I need to get serious about whatever influence happened that they decided they need to get there.
Mhm.
They now come and they want to take it a certain way and they tell you that their goal is within a year, within 3 months, within 6 months, and it can caution them, it can tell them, that not really work out like that, look at more. What they then do is they set goals around that and it sounds realistic and whatever, and you give them something, you talk to them around, and the decision at the end of the day is this is what we're doing.
Mm.
Say the thing either works out or stops working out, and you know what they do? In both cases, they hold on.
Of course.
You then find them holding this 1 year investment for 3. You find them holding this 3-month investment for 1 year.
Of course.
What I found is like a freeze.
Mhm.
It up, I want more. It go
Of
down,
course.
I can't get it now.
Of
You know, so
course. Of course. Cause
so
hear what? Hear what?
work to I'm no longer paying attention. I'm no longer making any action.
I revert to what I really wanted.
Hmm?
None of my ideas. I bought it at $1 and it went to $1.50 in a day. In 2 days. Jesus. If you got $1.50, it must can go $1.80.
It must
Really, in my
be
mind,
two.
it must can go two. But you got $1.80, it must can go two. Remember, your goal was 130, Yeah, but it must can go two. All right, you got two. But if you got two, it must can go three, right? It got 250. It got 250, definitely can go three. It got 280, must can go three. Remember, you wanted $1.30. It got
I,
299, and then it
I,
starts sell like whoa. Hmm?
I think it's natural to want the more. I've been guilty there of more, but I see this thing, I jump on a say I did have this plan, and I'm maybe sometime this I'm not gonna do with the money, bro. This money, this plane not gonna make in a 1 week or 1 month. I'm gonna pay for that thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Come early, so the thing can still buy it. But if we get more money, we can do them two things, we can go for vacation longer.
Yeah, man. And then
Two things
it's
popped in my head as Dana was talking.
mhm.
Thing number one is how, as he was saying, the freeze thing. I think one of the hardest things for me to get people to think about or consider when they ask me about the investment thing or the stocks thing is that it's always changing.
Yes.
So I can't tell you to buy or what to do because it's always changing. It's
Yep,
always changing.
yep,
And
yep.
so the same thing with that Dana is saying, where so you buy this and we said, we were looking for this much percent in this much time.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if something changes that
Mm-hmm.
changes what is likely to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What do you do now?
Yeah.
It's very hard to get people to understand that just
Well,
because I
eh,
said this company was popping off in December last year, it's probably not doing great right now.
mm-hmm.
And what's weird then is even when you have if people are watching, which they always are, they're watching your reaction to judge
Yes.
what to do. It gets even harder because
Mm-hmm.
I would joke last week about it, and the girl subscribers hear me joke about it. The Dolphin Cove. It's talking, big up David. David, make me a whole heap of money at Dolphin Cove. Because if you have a little sense, say say things great at Dolphin Cove certain ways. And if you are just gonna follow the headline and maybe think about how he sounds or what he's writing about or how he sounded on Kalila, you would probably rush and sell a lot of your Dolphin Cove shares when that fear hit, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what happened. What was this? We're talking about March. It feels like it was just yesterday, but it's actually a couple
Yeah,
months now.
March. Yeah,
March.
Yeah, yeah,
it's
during
been months.
March.
Yeah.
Time flies, bro.
Yeah, man. But if you think about that dip that happened in Dolphin Cove, that
Mm-hmm.
dip in D Cove was
Yeah.
sudden. It
The
was
1190.
yeah from Valentine's Day, February 14th, then you have February 17th, and then the dip start. So 17th, 18th. It's a massive drop just between those 2 days. Just between those 2 days, is a massive drop. Between the
Mm.
17th and the 27th, 10 calendar days, which is really like what I don't think it was 10 calendar days, maybe 7 or 8, maybe
Definitely not 10.
yeah, right. You have the thing dropping to 1241, coming from 1959, 1241, right? No, something like that. Um, I mean, I didn't. My eyes very happy quite happened, and I said that I was very happy. But a 36% drop in your money, 37% drop in the space of a week. It's going
Yeah.
to it's going to scare a whole lot of people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's look at the level of volumes that were traded. Look at the level of volumes that traded. Look at the level of, in fact, look at the level of trading that happened just in that week
Mm-hmm.
compared to
Real other time.
exactly compared literally to every other time. I mean, you look at a 1 year timeline the purple line being the amount of trades that's happening. This is more trades than have happened in, I'll say years. Let's go back to maybe 2022. So the last time this many trades happened was January 2022, right? 3 years ago. So you have a 3-year high being hit in terms of trading activity, people rushing, and you know what a heavy amount of that is. People sell, 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 get out, get out, get out, get out, get out, right? And that dip allowed people like me, right? So people like me. Say that again, did I?
You're not selling to nobody. Somebody is buying, right?
Exactly. I was wonderfully the fool on the other side of the queue, right? And that being a fool there again. If you look at the timeline, the 27th by March 11th. Again, that what kind of time is that? We're looking at March. We're looking at February 27th to March 11th. That's like another week or two. Yeah, it's a little over a week. It's like 7 trading days. Or 6 or 7 trading days. You have it going back from that 1241 to 1930. I know people who've made over $1 million in profit just in this time here. And what was it that was the catalyst for it? Yes, David's article and the pronouncements and coming on the back of his interpretation of what's happening with the parent company. But again, the core of it is people interpreting that a certain way, whether them going off what them say or how them feel or how them people feel or headline bankruptcy. Some people only reading the headline.
Don't this up.
Exactly, right? And those people allowed other people who maybe just went a little deeper. Okay, maybe I'm not going off the headline, let me read the article. And then other people go deeper. Let me read the article and they think about what the article is actually saying. Right? And then you go even deeper. The people we did that grow during this time and the other people there benefited. I said people made a lot of money just in that 1 week there, right? And one of the things I knew, I shouldn't say, I mean, it's easy to say, no, we never really know the future, right? But we are in the game of predicting as best we can on an educational basis. So my educated guess then was like, listen, it's gonna dip again. Right? There's gonna be dips again, and there's gonna be rises again. Maybe not as dramatic as this,
First ones.
Exactly, but there'd still be dips, right? And even the rises might not be as massive, but you're going from 1241 to 1930. That's also a nice little boom. That's a over 55% rise in again a little over a week, right?
I think
but this is during the time when you have people saying, "Oh, the market dead." In fact, outside of the growth group, I don't think anybody was really looking at this stuff and saying, "Oh my God, it's amazing." And for me, who I've been as in there, I got some out profit and buy back in again. And I'm the one who said, I think it has a couple more dips to come. We had more articles, we had more talking, we had more things, and it did so said so done. No, it dipped slower, but nonetheless it did. And I know that there are people who maybe missed this, but understood the lessons. Maybe they never catch it the first time, but then catch it the second time. I know there are grads who did that, and then they're in. They say, hey, down to 11 again. It must rise again. So said, so done again in not that far. Yeah, end of April 25th to May 12th. You're looking at what, 2 weeks there, maybe? Maybe not a 55% rise, but like a 30% rise. You're moving from 1118 to 1434, and I'm generalizing obviously the grow grads and those who do it know that's like a 28% rise. Know that there's more than that in there, and even then when I saw that it goes him at the 14 levels, what I thought there's more dips to come.
One of the things I like, this is a good listening prediction. It's not necessarily like it's so you get the information in front of you, but a thing people very quickly try to predict in a very vague sense is what happens to the price. And I say vague because they have no real timelines, no strong expectation that when the price will fall and they'll leave it there. A thing that helps us, in my opinion, is predict things outside the market that will happen. I know more articles will come because
I don't know these days.
it, okay, I said Dolphin Cove,
Okay,
bankrupt,
yeah.
but this is not the full process. This is not the full story.
Of course not.
So we know more information will come out, more articles will come out,
Which it did
and
and which it
have
did,
its
yeah.
own reactions around it. So if you start doing that, then you can easier plot a part of the ups and downs that are to come, and they make your moves on. Okay, I know this thing is gonna come out. I know this information, but I know there might be a time when this becomes more public. So the reaction is going to be to that thing happening. Versus boy bankruptcy, done deal.
Yeah.
Price will go fall. And then they leave it there as Dolphin Co. It almost seems like they write out Dolphin Co forever.
It done.
Sometime online when they forget about the thing more, or they forget how to make them feel, and then Dolphin Cove suddenly creeps back in, as an example, into being a consideration for them again, and that's way down the line. Versus what's going to happen to it after it falls. That a thing that can be is there a point after that like even if you say it'll fall, will it ever come back up? What's going to cause that? If you start thinking along those lines, then it becomes more easier to plot a part of what you're investing against.
Yeah. Once you stop thinking in terms of absolutes like that, only I see things in terms of absolutes. Yeah, man. You're always thinking that, oh, it ultimately did it, done it completely over. It don't make sense. Oh my God, it's done. But yo, the advanced growth that I had during this one, I think end of February, or while the thing was happening, and we were talking in the group. These guys get a whole heap of benefits. Sometimes it's just as simple as somebody just asking a sensible question. I said to them, I say, yo, guys, hold on. What's bankruptcy? What happens? Like, how does it work? And the second you stop and think about that, I think most people realize, wait, I have no idea how that works. I only hear that, oh, I'm gone bankrupt. It sounds bad, bankrupt.
So the thing I've often found is that's not what happens for many people.
No, yeah.
It's what is bankruptcy? And then they clutch on to their feeling around bankruptcy or their prior idea of bankruptcy. It's not a trigger for most people to then find out what actual bankruptcy is, how bankruptcy actually works, what the process behind it. I don't see off of that. I was just seeing most people. It's why you question me. It feels like that.
Yes, yeah. Which that's also a personality thing where it's a very Jamaican thing to where I was saying to a brethren of mine how we're weird. You know you're weird if you don't find questions offensive. We do find a lot of questions in Jamaica very offensive. Like, why are you questioning me for? It's like, yo, questions are. So yeah. And yeah, it comes from. I know it comes from some amount of insecurity because just like you said, I think all the time, I think, yo, what is my questioning thing there? Because I know I can tell with somebody else that it's insecure just because I don't have it, but I'm sure I have a blind spot in other areas. But for that one, I'm like, yo, I think maybe just because I do it so much, I like, you know how much money I've seen people lose because I actually asked them the question. If you just answer the question, you would see. But you think you attach some whole other things to my question.
We've had that where you just ask a question. I used to think that. I used to have a reaction to that where they question me.
It's a hard thing.
I think for me was answering that question was okay, cool, and they asked my question, but I know that I think I know this conversation I want out of it will not go further if I do have an answer to the question. I think that was a big deal for me back then. You asked me a question. I think I remember when we started talking more strongly was I had done some calculation, some heavy math thing, whatever. And the thing that led me to that was you asking me a question and saying and my reaction to it in my head said, no, that's my bag still. They can't ask me that. like I know that. You see me? So maybe you got to do my maths.
Exactly. And one of the things I find I know it's in the grower, I know it's in the grower subscribers group. It's part of why I do this with BrickTalk with earnings season. Why I encourage people to come on and be able to, I'm always telling people, yo, come on, ask your questions. Because I also know
Mm-hmm.
how great an advantage it is for people if you're able to ask us questions and we're able to answer it. And not just the answer to the question is never really the big deal. Like, what you think is going to happen with Dolphin Cove shares next week? I can tell you that, and then what? Let's say it does happen next week, then what? Let's say it doesn't happen next week, then what? But if I can help you, even in that 30 seconds or that 5 minute
Really nice.
conversation, if I can
Some thought.
exactly, if I can help you to think it through and be able to answer the question yourself in the future, you know how
Mm-hmm.
powerful you become.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
And you
have,
just said the magic word, think it through.
yeah, man, that's
That's the
all.
point.
That's it.
That's the point of it.
Just get people to think it through. Because with the Dolphin Cove thing, I remember a brethren, shout out Phil. I remember actually Phil sent me the article when it was still in Spanish. So there were no English articles on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I saw it, and my immediate reaction was, "Oh crap!" Because it's a bankrupt, so it's Dolphin. I'm like, "Oh crap, what's happening there?" And my next reaction was, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh God, I don't have enough money, Jesus." I don't have enough money, right? But then when I started to talk to people in the group, because I have to talk to such a broad base of people, I'm bringing it to them. I'm asking them because I want you to say it in the words that you speak in your mind because you understand that
Mm-hmm.
best. What the hell is bankruptcy? Because we only know about it. Yo, it's only rich people I hear go bankrupt. Think about it. Every story I hear about
Mm-hmm.
bankruptcy is
So,
rich people alone.
almost them reach after it.
And guess what? They
All of
bounce
them.
back.
Of
They
course,
come back from the bankruptcy
what is
like nothing
bankruptcy?
happened.
What is bankruptcy? I think Jamaica didn't even have, I don't even know if we have it now, but I know for a fact that a couple of years ago, we didn't even have bankruptcy laws properly on our books because it's a process that I could be wrong here, but I believe it's an American invention, which, and I'm screwing this up, it allows
Well,
I'm oversimplifying it by screwing it up. It is a process that allows you to not lose everything because a business idea of yours has not worked out. I know I'm oversimplifying it, but that's what it is, right? It allows you time and space sometimes to not only not lose everything, but sometimes to balance back your business. You can name, like there's this long list of businesses that have declared bankruptcy. Bankruptcy on its own is not a be all and end all. It's not at the end of the day. But also, for the girl guys at the time, I said this. I don't mind saying it publicly now. Dolphin Cove is not going bankrupt. Dolphin Cove is making a lot. Dolphin Cove last year made 1.8 million US in profit. Not their best year ever. No, by no means their best year ever. The year before, they made 3 million US in profit. Also, not their best year ever. I think maybe their fourth best year ever, right? But 1.8 million US is a 40% drop for Dolphin Cove. It's a massive drop, but it's still a
Not zero.
massive opportunity, right? And I suspect I went into it in a girl group. I won't go into it too much here in public, but the revenue for that year was their third best year ever.
Mhm.
Hmm. Third best year ever. And if you listen to the headlines, you'd have heard last year that tourism went down in Jamaica. You go and check how much it went down by. Well, I think it was 4%.
Mhm.
If you count the 2 days where we
I,
had
I
the
remember. Why I remember that specifically
uh
is in conversations on Twitter. Yeah, but it wasn't in one place. Well, I think it was possibly very likely around politics. So some people on one side basically saying, "Oh, the current government is doing badly because tourism went down." And then I saw other conversations just citing it as, "Boy, this bad thing." And I had to check. It was what's happening with tourism. So like what's really happening here? Like, what's this end of the world scenario that's being painted? I was so shocked, brother.
it, I don't know if you were in the advanced grow where I went through with the group. Um, the drop in tourism at the time we're still in the year. The first set of drop in tourism doom and gloom articles had come out, and I measured for them. I hope they got it. Well, I measured for them was count out every day in the year and bring those days down to percentages, and then count the 3 days lost from what a hurricane in him.
Whatever she name.
The hurricane that
Burial?
blew away all the auditors. Yeah,
Is that it?
the burial. Yeah, a
Mm-hmm.
hurricane burial. I was like, yo, this drop sounds a lot like it works out almost 1-to-1 with 3 days worth of stoppages at the I think it worked out to 4 or 5 days worth of stoppages at the Sangsters airport.
Mm-hmm.
But then Sangsters was also closed for 2 days for damage to the runway.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Dolphin Cove dead. Them going to take the dolphins out and shoot them. It's over.
Sir.
Also, when you think, let's say that the parent company dies. Again, this is grow group stuff. You're going into it. Think of the market like the African prairie, right? When the elephant dies, as elephants do have to die from time to time, it's a wonderful thing for everybody else. The hyenas get piece of the carcass, the lions get piece of the carcass, right?
The humans come take up the tusks.
The tusk, right? Let's even leave the humans outside. Let's just say the elephant dies, and the hyenas come and they're at the edge and they're grabbing some of the carcass. The lions come and the lions don't like the hyenas because the hyenas steal from them. So the lions make up a noise and run them away. And so the lion is eating it and the lion is full. But because the lion is there, the hyenas will not do too much trouble. So the gazelles will come around because the lion too full to come and run, we don't know. Right? And the hyenas have the food there, so it's good. The carcass is rotting, so wherever it's rotting, that place is going to be a little bit more fertile, right? It might have died near the water. And so the gazelles are there now, the hyenas are there, the crocodile grab one of the gazelles. It's a circle of life, right? Nothing ever really changes. No, Dolphin Cove isn't even sick. Dolphin Cove is doing great. The owner of Dolphin Cove, the parent company is doing terrible. That's an elephant dying.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not calling the new director, I'm not calling Stafford Boras a hyena. But yo, the man kick everybody else off the carcass, right? It's him and the lawyer alone on it now. Well, I say him and the lawyer alone, but he's him and the lawyer back on it, right? And that to me indicates that there is opportunity there, and somebody sees it. Somebody who isn't reading the articles sees it, or somebody who's reading the articles and laughing to themselves, right? And that happens all over the market. It's not just doom and gloom, and it's not just this bad thing happens. In fact, when you get just the little parts along the investment journey that we'll all get to if you stick to it and serious about it, and one of the parts is when bad news starts being exciting to you. Then I know this, I say it all the time. I tell him something bad happening to a company, joy. If something actually bad happening to a company, even more joy. I don't know which is better, something bad happening or something that people think is bad happening.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe
Yeah, you're right.
I think maybe
it's always a spectrum. It's all right. Let me frame this in what can I do around this?
Exactly. I think the only thing that can be terrible, just to cap it and then I make it go down, it can be terrible, is if the company is actually bad and I'm in it and they don't look like they're improving at all. I think only maybe just leaving the market is the only thing. Delisting is the most terrible thing. That's the only thing. Because then, it's the lamest of games. If you get delisted, it's the lamest of games.
Like Sweet River. How much years we were looking at Sweet River.
Still know it hurt me.
Yeah, wait till somebody comes swoop it up. And then...
Yeah, I off the market swoop it up.
But yeah, and I left no characters for me.
Right? Like, I'm not going to eat no damn Little Caesars pizza. Just leave the damn thing on the market so we can get it. Buy the thing on the market, man. Stop making the thing delist. Right? Delisting is probably the lamest thing that can happen to a company, in my view. Delisting because things went bad and there's nothing there, right? There's also, in fact, I don't necessarily like any delisting, but I wouldn't put a SRA in the same. SRA is the Sweet River. I wouldn't put it in the same category as like a Key Insurance being delisted by GK, right?
Yes.
Right? It's still,
there is some potential or
different body. I'm hoping that it means something else, right? And so you see, it's funny. That's a two similar acts. It's still delisting, but two completely different views.
I remember, I just had a glimpse of a conversation we had sometime way back in early season days. I think with Ryan was there. And
Hmm.
we spoke that similarly around just an opportunity of a company being on the market and just categorically undervalued. We look at we look at a company, and this thing is this thing is not trading in line with what it's worth to somebody if they can just buy this out.
Well, as much as we try to avoid the NCBs keep coming back to it.
Wait, but that's true. That's the market.
Our NCB question.
Tell
The,
us.
And I have a
uh,
Q question.
it's clear. Go shoot, go shoot. No, not get not too much stress off of
All
it.
right.
Yeah, well, I really want to hear what Daniel was
Uh
going to say, but
oh
actually,
yes, go ahead.
no, no,
I
no,
can
no.
come back. I can circle back.
Oh no, I wasn't saying.
Yes, Danai, tell me.
It was
I'm not going to forget Danai, so you go ahead.
no. I don't think I was saying much. It was really this. If something is on that's the market. They we bring something into a place where it's more easily bought.
Yeah,
If I have a company that's unlisted, I largely determine the value of it. Because a man have to come to me and say, yo, man, I sell it, I buy this from you, no bossy. And I have to say yes or no based on what price put to me. On the market now, if enough of my shares are out there, bro, and a man look on it and say, we can get that price of it. Like if this was unlisted, I would have to buy this thing for double what it is right now. But I can get up and go buy it, and he has enough money. What do you think is happening? It just might not
yeah.
be my. I was reminded of another episode of BrickTalk around certain company IPO, but I left it there.
Uh, I also remember it as I don't know if we said it on the Limitless podcast or if it's something that we said when we were talking that night before, but the nerd stuff. I said, like, I listed companies like a Shard Blade, right? Nobody has a right to a Shard Blade. You can own it, you can inherit it, you can even
Mm-hmm.
start it, you can be your Shard Blade. But you
Mm-hmm.
only have the Shard Blade if you can keep it. That's it.
Yes.
You have to be able to keep it. Now, if you screw
Yeah.
up, if you can't run the company, if you can't get it right, you mashed up completely, but it's still listed, somebody else can come in and figure things out. That it
Yeah.
happened with Simony. It happened with so many things. It happened with
Yeah.
Simony. It happened with
Keep.
Key. It happened
Yeah.
with Key. It did happen with Key. GK is running it much better in my view as an investor than the sisters did. No knock to the sisters, but
And the GK come for the rest. They say, wait, they only still now want this thing.
and what does that imply? What does that imply? Why would they take it off market? No,
It- uh, because it's so terrible, Randy, of course.
of
And that
course it's
is so
terrible.
where you guys heard it thick in my voice, so go misquote me on that.
Boy, all I know is that them delisting it stopped me from selling any more GK shares.
Mm-hmm.
And GK fell after that. In
Yeah, no,
fact,
see,
GK
man,
is
Below
down
70,
I
to,
get
to
excited
below 17.
to 67 or something. Somewhere there, so.
Yeah,
below
exactly.
70.
And GK themselves just bought like 2 point odd million shares and they
Mm-hmm.
bought it in Trinidad.
Nah,
Yo, yeah.
That's just
Um,
mental.
oh my God. If anybody want to talk about that, by the room, but the lines are always open. Send a
okay, you were
speaker
saying
request.
before we tangent shit too
Yeah,
hard.
before, yeah. So send a speaker request. You're always welcome to join the conversation. But Shay, you say you had a point, a question.
You know, I want to hear from other people too. That'd be cool.
Well, when they
If
jump in,
somebody
it's
else
always
jump
open.
in.
It's always open. So
Yeah.
if anybody wants to jump in, they can. But let's hear
Mm-hmm.
your NCB question.
Um, well, I have a couple. Let's see. One is, you know what, probably don't ask that. You know whatever. I'm the one who asks questions, no one wants to ask.
This is a safe place for
Do
questions.
you so uh while I was watching the queue, right? And this is about Q1, right? I was wondering,
Hmm.
um, can you tell from the queue if you're catching a falling knife?
Woo! But first, just to keep everybody on the same page, tell the people what you call a falling knife.
Um, oh, it's going to keep falling. Probably
Okay.
going cut if you try
So
catch
it's
it.
okay, I get it. All right. So it's an analogy of the share price dropping and you think, oh, it's a great price to jump in at.
Yeah.
Um, and then you jump in, but it keeps falling. So no, you weren't
Mhm.
losing any money when you're out of it. No, you're in it and it's falling. It's just like grabbing the knife and it keeps falling and it ends up cutting your hands. Just everybody's
Yes,
on
I put.
the same page. So your question is, can you tell from the cue if you are catching a falling knife?
No, I would say you can have ideas around. It gives you better speculation around that.
Mm.
But definitively no.
Speculation.
Another, you know what you
Not a bad.
guys went into the manipulation. So I was thinking 30, I was, but I'm not going to get into it because I don't want like the problems. I don't want the problems.
Okay.
Um,
Viewers.
but I was also wondering about that article that came out about the mortgaging of the shares,
Ooh,
GHL shares.
are you touching two different things? Which one you
Yeah,
want
man, I know,
touch
I know,
first? Which
I
one you
know.
want touch first?
Um, you
Falling
know,
knife or the
yeah,
mortgaging of the
let's
shares?
get into falling knife, I guess. Yeah, because we did say we are going to talk about cues. So,
Dana, you want answer or you
but you
want
guys kind
go?
of answered,
Well, Dana,
but
wait, what was your answer, Dana? You can or you can't?
I would say yeah. I would say definitely there's no. Oh, I can get up and decide that that's happening, and like based on just looking at the queue.
Yeah, me, I don't think I can either. I don't try to. I can add it to the mix of things that I use to make that
It
definition. Yeah, for me, it's
it
always
helps,
uh,
it helps paint the picture for me.
yeah, yeah.
mhm,
It's always a part of the recipe. For me, how do I know if the knife is really falling still? Let's use real examples since you mentioned it as the
mhm,
GK, not GK, the NCD thing. GK is a good opposite example, in my view. But I'll do, because GK hasn't been at that price. It traded at its 1 year low. It traded at its 1 year low, it being GK, traded at its 1 year low four
mhm,
days ago, this week, right? Um,
mhm,
I would be very surprised if that's where it stays. Me personally, right? I'm
mhm,
considering, like I say, yeah. Let me not cloud the water. Let me not muddy the waters. NCD falling knife ish. Right. So let's say I could look at the queue right now. Am I catching a falling knife if I buy into NCD's queue right now? In my view, yeah. You guys said it, but I never really actually look. Wow, wow. Hold on.
What are you looking at? Oh, NCB's queue. Ah, yes.
Hold on, it's a 3 unit trade right here, at one.
Right.
what you say a while ago?
Right him up.
Oh my God. Wow, wow, wow. Then I had said it to me earlier, but wow.
Yeah, man.
I'll go into this on the after
This,
call with
this,
the
yo,
group. I won't go into this
this,
here. I'll go into this on the after call with the
this
group.
queue, eh?
All right, next
No, no,
call.
no, no, no. As in what I'm looking at now, I'll go into it on the after call with the group. But
But Shane, this,
your question is a perfectly valid question. Okay, so let's say I'm looking at this now. It hit. Let's say I'm looking at NCB right now, and it hit. It closed today at 3102. Uh, obviously that's all. It traded as low as 30 today. Wow,
Mhm.
wow. It traded as low as 30 today. Sorry guys, give me a second. It's blowing my mind. The implications of this are massive.
Yeah, that is it.
Uh
Mhm, mhm,
But this kind of thing can trick you, you know.
yes, it can.
This can
mhm.
easily be falling like
Yes, it can.
I've seen it before.
So I don't know. No, the NCB is its own little opera, right? Forget the noise. Like, yeah, its own little
Exactly.
opera. This is not. This is not where
But
the
it this
small
but
people play, and it doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It hits a lot of people. Don't forget the articles from who and who about
30.
exactly
who
that.
is the hog and Ray. It hits a lot of
Yo.
hogs. It hits a lot of hogs,
Mm-hmm.
including almost every. I'll say everybody in Jamaica, every Jamaican who is listening hits all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
In whether or not you know it, it hits you. So
Yeah, man.
I don't know.
Like
So is it a falling knife?
Jamaica can't afford it, Ernie.
Say that again, Dana?
Jamaica cannot afford this.
Exactly.
In some ways, like it. I'm not saying this is where it done. Far from
I
that.
know, of
But
course not.
make a case very strongly to say why.
Yeah, but look at how these things happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. It happens all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-mm.
it's not like you're going to, it's not. Yeah, Lehman Brothers failed overnight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Happened, and then it happened suddenly. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know that this is it though,
I don't know either.
No.
but you don't know because it could be it Monday morning.
Yep.
God damn, how low can it go tomorrow? I'm at Monday. It
Right?
can go 26. It can go 22,
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
and we're when July. Wow,
But also, who bought these? Who's buying?
shares can drop in price unless somebody buy it,
Right. Somebody was
and
buying
it's not a
all
small volume.
today.
It's not a
So
small
Mm-mm.
volume.
the same the same amount of people that were saying I don't want this, the same amount of people, not the same amount of people, but the same amount of money going into I don't want this was going into I want this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
I actually was wondering about that. And what I was wondering is how much went in and how much came back out, kind of.
well, not never comes out. Well, tell me what you mean.
I, I, all right. Is it that?
Down 41% year on year. My God,
Wow, that's crazy.
it's down from the
Yo,
APO.
yo, look on the thing there. I think not even that. Randy, look on the graph. It hasn't been like I pressed all.
Yeah,
It has not been low.
it has not been on.
I mean, it's like the graph goes all the way back to March 2017.
Oh, when they switched over. Yeah.
This is the lowest. This is the lowest.
Hmm. The wild thing is, I'm sorry to say, if them did do a right issue last October instead of an APO, it wouldn't be the same. Big man thing, big it wouldn't. The thing would have go back to 100. No, I am willing to put, I'm willing
That's
to put
also
money on that.
Randy, come out if you fight this
No,
that
I'm
evening.
not. I'm just looking at it and it's obvious to me. But it's obvious to me that that's why. But hey, that's a different universe. In this
think of certain,
universe, so that again, Dana?
that makes me think of certain opportunistic people that I think would that I think like that this is happening for the price, and they would not have said that point they would not have a problem with an APO and all that.
The people playing this game are not stupid.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, the people playing this game are not stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
It's
uh, uh,
again.
that's
You
why I
see,
say.
man, we want it at 30, I call you and say, yeah, man, do it, my boss. Ready, bro. Put
Yeah,
in some money on
yeah.
it.
We'll see. That's it. That's it. I didn't know. ah, I remember the certain conversations. All right, Shay, I don't want to move too far from the question. How do you know when you're catching a falling knife? In my view, you said, well, can the Q tell you? I don't think the Q on its own can tell you. You need a lot of other factors. And then the Q can help you at the moment of the buy or the sell, right? Me personally, I don't, I hedge
Mm-hmm.
my bets. So if I'm buying NCB now, for one, if I'm buying NCB now, I'm buying it, uh, I'll be buying it heavily, but not too heavy. Let's say I have $100 million. I'll be buying it now with maybe 20. And tomorrow I'm expecting to spend another 20. And tomorrow being
Mm-hmm.
Monday, and then maybe Friday I spend another
Mm-hmm.
20, or maybe August, late August I spend another 20. and then I keep another almost 20 gone or 3 or 4. And then I keep that other 20 for
With a knife.
Just in case.
no, just in
Me too.
case. No man, it can't. I don't think it can be held. I think if I could hold it, I would have held it. So I keep it for after the news comes out and the change happens and the newer confidence happens, and that might be a 2, 3, 4 year thing. It could be even longer if it's held, if it's dragged out. You could be looking at a 4 or 5 year battle. But would I be willing to wait 5 years to make 200% on 100 million? Today, yes, but
So
it can't be my only 100 million.
Fucks.
Yeah, but today, yeah, right now I would, but it can't be my only 100 million. So the answer to your first part of your question, Shay, in my view, can you tell just from the cue? If you're catching a falling knife? No, but I think the cue can help inform everything else. So like, so what Dana and I did immediately at the start, we didn't think about it, just how we approach it. This knife, in my view, probably still has some more room to fall. This knife probably have a rocket on the back of it. And I think it might have further to go. But you also never know. The support could come in, certain things could be done. Wow. Wow, there's so much more that I'll say it in the group privately. But my answer to your question, at least from my perspective, is no. Not from
Not from just looking at the queue.
not from just looking at the queue.
It's part of the picture.
So you're going to need some other things with it.
Yeah.
And then you
Must.
implied as well that I guess the queue is a snapshot. Yeah.
I guess it is. It is.
Yeah, it's a snapshot,
As you said
and
earlier, it can change.
And it's a Photoshop
yeah.
snapshot too. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
That too.
It's a Photoshop
So it
snapshot.
could
Yeah.
change.
Okay, that's
Well,
good.
it's like it's gonna change Monday morning. We don't know how. I guess we'll see how it changes or what happens. But you also alluded to the fact that sometimes
Mhm.
the person's working in the queue or whatever, the players,
Mhm.
they're looking at 5, 10 years from now. And it's you cannot tell from the queue that they're looking at
Yep.
5, 10 years from
No.
now.
That's why one of the craziest things for you to do is get up and say, "They might buy up NCB," and you buy because they buying it up.
Yeah, you can't.
Imagine me like if I were to call you today, this morning, and say, "Yo, them buy no, at 2 o'clock today. How much NCB trade?" And say, "Yo, the man them buy $91 million worth of NCB." It sounds good, don't it?
91 million sounds so wonderful. It sounds so big.
One day them somebody buy 91 million worth of NCB. That sounds so good. Right? But the truth is, that's not a good reason for you to get up and say, "I'm gonna buy this too."
Because I sell somebody sell to them too.
Well, not just
Exactly.
that, but also
But yeah, yes, but you're right.
You
All
don't
but
know.
also,
there's a
You don't know
bigger
what
those
their
telling
game.
goals are too.
Yeah,
oh,
man.
you and them are the same person. Them have them reasons.
Yeah.
Them have,
Mm-hmm.
them have them pocket.
This makes me think a lot about politics. And not just Jamaican politics, but international politics. Where the one place I don't expect to hear what's actually going on is the news.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the more I learn, the more I know, the
Yep,
more I
it's
know
worse. It's worse
you're
now.
not going to hear it on news because there's somebody who has a vested interest in making Danai sound
Yeah.
crazy, and Danai has
Yeah.
a vested interest in making me sound greedy, and she has a vested interest in making us sound evil, and so everybody with their vested interests, you paint a picture, you put a Photoshop up,
Yeah.
but you're not going to get the real thing. One of the most powerful things I talk about all the time, I repeat all the time in the group is that, yo, There's people behind all of this, and finance carry feelings, and
It goes both ways,
yeah,
not
man,
just bad.
feelings go both ways, good and bad, and feelings, as we said earlier, emotions trump logic,
Mm-hmm.
and that don't just work at the low level; it work at the high level too.
And the person explaining their emotion
Mhm.
will never sound emotional.
Yeah.
They'll tell you why what they're saying is logical.
Yeah, and sometimes it's logical too. Sometimes somebody is emotional and they're making a logical move, and yo, it work out. It work. I'm happy. I'm happy it's working. I'm happy that you've chosen to do this. If somebody wanted NCB share price to hit $30 by July 2025, can you imagine how happy they must have been last year when the
Today.
no last year
Mm.
when the APO announcement came out?
And say, see, you know.
Choose violence.
No, no, I'm not choosing violence. I don't have any shares in NCB, and I'm not big enough to play this game. My whole thing with NCB is knowing the moment to go in, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just do I have enough money to put it in there and wait. It's in my view, it's a
Mm.
five-year play easily. Um, Depending on how it goes, it could go nice, could be a 2-year play. But can you imagine how if somebody wanted it to hit $30 by July 2025. Can you imagine how ecstatic they must have been in summer of 2024 when them here, or late 2024 when them here APO consideration? Oh, you think they would have said no?
Exactly that. That's different, isn't it?
They're playing a different game.
Imagine how look on that best because that best interest will come out then. It
Yeah,
would start being, yo, this need for happen. Then it becomes a great thing.
yeah, them push you. Yeah, man. But
And you think about that too. Instead of knife, instead of man hold a knife and smile in your face. Because
yeah,
when you're doing the thing and you're saying, okay, I need this and whatever, the man that want your downfall will be telling you, yeah man, I call your phone and say, yo, good thing I do, you know,
yo, the
boss.
dog, the man, him want your girl hard. So he must say, yo, you really take that from him? You make him box you, so? I mean, yeah, you have to understand also at this
Are
level,
you better if I tell you to look at next girl?
yeah, at this level, with this level of game, it is silly to think that the people playing, the people who can move 90 million in a day, are at a loss. If assume they're moving at a loss, it is silly to think that those people are going. I wonder how the queue look to see to see to see if they should do or not do something. They're not moving that way. They're moving off a complete different thing. And as you heard us say earlier, as a portfolio changes, how you approach the whole thing has to change. And when you're playing at this is the $1 billion level. When you're playing at the $1 billion level, you're not moving too fast. Fast for you might be next year. By next year in. Fast for you might be buying the debt, buying some of the bonds 2 years ago. Fast for you might be. I think about how long ago Dana and I, how many years ago Dana and I were talking about this from the perspective of the bonds, personal debt, what could happen. I remember us having conversations with Ryan about it, and that was like early days. Ryan up when we were up by BAM.
Bam side, yeah.
Yeah, so that's early earning season days.
Mm-hmm.
We're good. That's carrying us back to what, 2019, 2018, thereabouts.
2019, yeah, around them time.
And we're talking about what's happening now, then.
Oh.
And we don't have no money like that then.
Yo,
No, if you
different days, bro,
no, the
different
people that
days.
had money then are making their moves. For them, yeah, it's a 5-year play.
Yep.
For them, they might have heard about the pandemic and they're like, "Well, I don't know, but I couldn't plan it. But hey, here it comes. We'll
Mm-hmm.
make the moves. You only hold the shard blade if you can hold it.
I remember,
Mm,
boy, I remember that pandemic. And I'm talking about us. I remember what was happening around certain people, and it's so interesting to watch what they've done with that and since. And even, like you said, the feelings they had, I big money people,
mhm.
people, and the pandemic was not a good thing for that person.
Was not.
The initial reaction to it was, Jesus, is this happening? Lots of money in the market and the thing, you know?
Mhm.
But then to watch what they've done since, yo, the man, I know, homeboy said this don't feel good, but yo, fix up, because we're going to make the money and it have to work.
Yeah.
And
The deadliest people on the market are those of us who can adapt. Yeah, they're adaptable.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I think
have the
it's one of
feeling the same
the
way. Not going to be great, but
Yeah. And that's something
boy,
you also have to go through. It's so funny. At Advanced Grower next week, the one I'm doing over from last one, that's one of the things because I think I with my own portfolio so much today. I'm like, I'm halfway through the year, rework the portfolio time. Some of the things you don't always feel nice about, you don't always feel good about. Um, some of the things you can't take the pain of, you don't like it. Boy, I know I did for it, but unless you can go back in time, you can't change it. But making that move when this don't feel good, but let me make this move now because 5 years from now we'll still be talking about the market. We'll still want that money in the market, and 5 years from now we'll be happy if we made a good decision now. And yeah, you can use that sort of thinking and bring that sort of thinking to your long and short term moves in the market. Um, Even if it is catching a falling knife, you might mean catching a falling knife and being patient knowing that I can only afford to catch it now, or if you can afford to catch it a little later on, maybe catch a little bit more. But hey, it's how it works. Yeah, looking at the situation now and adapting to it. Those of us who are adaptable in the market will always make the most money. But damn, $30.
One of the biggest things I've always said, and I think of it immediately because I see Limit Breaker asking, do you think MLC will lose control of NCBFG?
Tell him to check the recordings for when we have a way. I distinctly remember. I think it was when you and I read it, and I distinctly remember one of them asking if you think it can be lost. You can't lose. And I distinctly remember saying, you think it can be lost? Yes, it can. And then laying out some of how it can be lost.
The thing I think of, not necessarily the answer there, because yes, it can. I
Of
it's
course.
not that. Do you think for me? It's not that. Why? It's he can lose it. The thing I don't like is again radicalization. It's people feeling they need to pick a side. I've never met. I've met Leachy,
Yeah.
but suppose me never meet Leachy, right? I, I, even after meeting him, I don't have a horse in the race. It's not a situation of if like my money is not made on oh boy, do I feel bad for Leachy? Do I want him to lose it? Do I want him to not lose it? It's okay, what happens if he does? What happens if he doesn't? And then what I can do around that.
Exactly.
You do not need to pick a side. It's not your father, it's not your mother, it's not your sister, like it's not your girl. There's you very often it's very common that there's no benefit for you saying I like this guy, I need X, Y, Z to happen, and you have to remove yourself from the situation in a lot of ways. It's what do I think can happen, and then my reaction is planned from before in the case whichever way it go. Suppose he don't lose
Hmm.
it. Suppose you're one of those that say, yo, your whole plan is based on if he does lose it. Then if you don't lose it, then boy, you're now making a new plan. You want to be to me, it's the same thing Shay asking in a lot of ways, or catching a falling knife. You want
Hmm.
to be at the point where at a point you invest where you're most sure of the next thing. Because if
Yeah.
you're here saying I have to buy this thing, but you have no clear idea on what happens next, then you're in a problem.
Yep. Because you're thinking of it as
Zero
the
sum.
sum of the zero sum game, and it ends.
Mm-hmm.
It ends. I do this, and then what I predicted happened, and then it's all over.
Mm-hmm.
No, if you get it right, it doesn't end the next day. If you get it wrong, it doesn't end the next
Next
day. You
day.
still have to
Yep.
figure it out. Yeah. Here's maybe a more provocative question. I'll ask Shay this first. Do you think he should lose it?
Randy.
What's the base? Define. Like, I would say should. What it should?
Do you
Couldn't
think
Yeah,
stop.
what?
do you
Yeah.
think it would be better if he did lose it?
For me or you?
I only care about
Lose
us.
it.
I rate him, but I mean, he sold the yacht before him invite me on it.
Good point.
Yeah, I've never been on the jet. Yes.
Um, what is the plan? Does he have a plan? Did he make up? I don't know. I mean, I
I
guess
never knew him plans
I
from
want
before
to
either. I'm
know.
not sharing him plans with. Well, I'm not
Yeah,
sharing
man.
plans with
Yeah.
us.
So that there's that, but that's kind of where I would be thinking like, how old is this dude?
I don't know. I'm still alive. No, I don't think he's that old.
Yeah, man.
70 other believe.
Yeah.
And Google is free. Let me just check.
0.8 billion. That's how old he is. 0.8 billion.
Should is a strong. I don't know about should, but I'm just like it's obvious that it's kind of time to
I think that
watch
that's a good
Succession.
question, right? Then Shay?
Is it though?
Because then that's where you start your planning. If he does lose it, then what? If he loses it, if he doesn't, then what? What's the best path for me? Start planning that path.
Yeah. And then,
But
yeah. Sorry, continue, Shay. Sorry.
another thought I had was, is the shareholder the company?
What do you mean?
Like,
I mean,
so what if is it going to cease to exist?
no. And that's a good point you're making. People
That's
tend to think like that.
a big part of the coin. That's a big part of the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
It's still there after. If he loses it, it's still there. If he keeps it, then it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not how it works at all. So it's still there. But in answering that question, my thought was, does he? One, it's not necessarily every question is fair, but what perspective is it from? So then I can touch on like what perspective is it from. So I'm coming from the retail investor perspective. I'm also coming
Mm-hmm.
from the perspective of the country and the region. Like NCB is no
Mm-hmm.
slouch within that space. NCB
Yes.
can hit our financial sector hard. Every
Oh yeah.
financial company
Mm-hmm.
is tied into it one way or another.
And if he does,
So is it
who
more
gets it?
about around the people part of it, where because people make share price? So is it more around that?
And not only. So when I asked the question initially, I was thinking just from the perspective of us as investors, like if he were to lose it, if somebody who you thought was better come in and take it over, and the share price flies to 100, obviously we got in from
Mm-hmm.
$30. My God! So we'll get that triple up, we'll get that three bagger. Would we?
Mm-hmm.
Is that better for all
Well,
of
it's always
us?
better if you
But I
make more
also look
money.
at that and I say that's another variable, right? Like, suppose the
Um,
person that gets it isn't working, it isn't necessarily better for us.
or people don't
Out of the
think they
frying pan.
are.
Into the
Yeah. To be fair, NCB, this is the reality of NCB kind of different. We had to use that one, but we're on an episode from long ago, and I tell you that I have this long pet theory about that I can directly track. In my view, I can directly track the change in NCB's debt push, meaning when they started to offer greater debt to more regular folks, and the rise in Jamaica's economy from that, right? Literally, I call it a dollar is a dollar. A dollar on credit is more than a dollar. Like $1 and $1 on credit is not the same dollar. A
different
dollar
thing,
on
right?
credit is like $10 million.
More than nothing.
Exactly. And when NCB started to open up that credit to regular Jamaicans, more and more regular Jamaicans, more and more entrepreneurs, companies, and so on, it shifted the country. And that's outside. If you go to an even lower level, for years, NCB paid for mats and something else for everybody who did CXC. I mean, not a lot of money. It's a lot of money put out together. NCB was
Oh
covering it.
yes, I remember that.
Yeah. So I don't. But for a massive tree to grow, a really big tree sometimes has to die. Now, I'm not saying NCB will die or anything of the sort, but I just wonder if the thought popped into my head and I thought to ask it. I didn't even think about it. I wanted maybe to ask anyway if I
Mhm.
thought it through. But do you think maybe it should shift in ownership?
Hmm.
I don't, and I don't have an answer. I really don't
Same,
know.
but the thing I think about as well then is the same thing. The radical, the people that really seem to want it to go. Like, have they thought about it? Like, it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like it becomes a per. It doesn't feel like they're thinking from like what's better for me. It's just I don't like the chin. That's what I keep hearing, or that's what I keep seeing it as.
Yeah, but the people who are saying that
Exactly.
they're not even in the queue. But at the bigger heads, at least what I think is happening at the bigger heads. I don't know. Some of them might be onto something to get it. And also, you don't rule MLC out, right? When you go through the fire, sometimes what you come out as even better. You
Yeah.
learn things that you didn't know before, and you become sharp of having done it. If you just look at the raw numbers, the thing is better. Just the raw numbers,
Same
the
body.
thing is better, right? Right? A bit of a dip. They had to pay the great Patrick Hilton and company off in profit, and then we had profit come back up, and now we're seeing them do things to that have good profit impact. I mean, we're 1 or 2 quarters in, 2 quarters in, and equal to last year's profit.
Yeah, well, the same
Um,
thing. NCB's fundamentals are strong, right? Why would it be so
yeah,
low? Why would it need to lose?
yeah. But then such a good one. I'll talk about it more off here. I'll talk about it more off here. Uh,
If the
but
government,
yeah. I see Dan come on it. I really was hoping we'd get up the NCP point before Dan came on. But Dan, what's up?
Sir Dan, what's good?
I didn't hear us. Dan, you heard us? All right. Let's see if he sorts out his sound in
Yeah,
time.
hello.
Dan,
Oh,
what's
all
up?
right. Yeah, yes, there, Dan. What's up?
Not much. I think nostalgia and sentiment aside, um, the improvement in share price of NCB would be a very good thing, not just for us as investors, but for the majority of pension funds across the country. Um,
Are you
and
asking a question or are you saying
that,
something?
no man, I'm saying,
Okay, got you. I,
yeah. So yeah, so I every time I think about it, and I think about the doom and gloom that a lot of people talk about. I don't think they are actually looking at how wide an impact
hmm.
outside of the regular retail market that NCB would have. It would be a systemic shock to us um, if something were to happen badly, right? Now, as I said a while ago, the numbers are getting better,
Well, let's pause for a
and
second. I should I
yeah.
should say something. When you say if something were to happen, everybody says something. Nobody says what could happen.
What's the thing
Like like
you talk?
Oh well, my kind of perspective on it is not so much from what I hear. What I see possibly is debt leading to a loss and then a stripping out of the assets of the bank by some other entity to who might kind of like let us imagine going back to like the FinSat days when Patrick Hilton went to MLC and say, "Oh,
but how
I'm
did
not
that work
selling your
out?
bank, I'm selling your vision."
Yeah, how did that
Well,
work out?
it worked for a while, but we are
It
now
worked.
back
It
at a
worked
point,
very, very well. But like I
right?
hear everybody saying that. Hold on one sec. A
Hmm.
good thing that you brought that up. Everybody's saying that. But what exactly is happening with NCB? That's bad. National NCB
That's what I'm saying.
Financial Group.
There's nothing. The numbers of the company are improving. I just said that what I'm saying is the and why I'm saying I'm looking at it not from that angle that everybody's talking, is that the way I see something bad happening is if, for example, control was lost and the person who or the entity that took control was not interested or didn't have the best interest of our market at heart and just wanted the asset. And
so they do what? Like they delist?
yeah, delist and spin off the stuff and sell off
My
and
brother, the last time that happened, the JSE became the #1 stock market in the world for that year. Oh my God, I almost would wish that would. Are you mad? I would throw every dime in. I would throw in every single dime. If somebody
right.
was
But
to
you
try
see,
and delist NCB,
yeah, man. But that's good for us, you know. But what I'm saying is, in general, it my thinking of what could happen if control is lost, because it's not about the financial integrity of the business, it's about the financial capacity of the majority shareholder and the entities that he controls.
the entities are still there. The entities are
And
still
if they
doing what they
delist,
do.
that's if they do delist, that's isn't that a heyday for a lot of the burdened people? No, them have cash for something else.
Jesus, the
Mhm,
amount of cash that would be so massive. Jeez.
mhm.
Yo, don't excite me like that, bro. I would, oh my God. I mean, assuming that it was a good priced offer, and you'd have to,
It, it would have
it'd
to
have
be.
to be. You'd have to be.
Yeah, it would have to be. Um, one of the things I keep reading about in a lot of the articles, and I know we don't put all of our faith in the articles, but um, there's this thing or this concept of delisting stuff and going private and retooling and reimagining and then probably coming back in a different format at another time.
Mhm.
Um, with some big jumbo investors. I, you know
You say
what?
coming back, what you mean
I
though? You mean like the realist?
no, I'm saying it from a MLC approach.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, if if I don't know what the terms of the debt is, but if the terms of the debt don't say that I can't delist the thing, then the shares that are pledged, um, he could protect those shares by delisting and creating a situation where a sale is not so easy of shares or
I think you're mixing different points here now. The what I want to say what that, but I'm very weird because I don't want us.
okay,
I don't want
all
us to
right,
put
all right.
another 30 minutes in. It's just hold
The
on.
debt, the debt, his debt that is secured by his NCB holding,
Okay.
right? Right. So so one of the things I've asked myself is, what if he decides to delist NCB ahead of anything that would lead to a loss of the share of control of the bank,
How
and
would
then
he delist it?
I don't know how you delist a company. You tell the stock
Cost
exchange say
it.
you're not you
Costs a
don't want to be
bit.
on the exchange anymore.
No, man, it
Oh, the
costs a
cost.
little bit to do that. It costs a little bit to do that. I don't know that you could maybe easily do that. I think you'd almost certainly pick up a bunch of lawsuits. You are right in that if there is personal debt, we don't know what the terms around it are.
Right.
I think delisting would be a change in the material condition, which would be a big deal.
Of the security.
Yes, it's level one. It's tier one. It's level one. No, if you delist, you move from that level. So I don't know if I would worry even about that delisting thing here right now. Like maybe if a
Okay.
big buyer came in and bought it up and said they're delisting it, if the Republic, God forbid, but if the Republic if if
No,
Republic
sir.
Bank comes in and say, hey, we're $50 a share,
No,
which is buying
no.
it for cheap.
Cheap,
We,
cheap.
we
Oh
can't
my
go back. We
God, it's
can't go
that
back
it's
there. No.
that. What
But,
you mean
but,
you can't go back?
but if you say, bro, if a man say 50,
How do you know that's not what's
in
being
my
done
opinion,
now?
that's leaving so much money on the table. Somebody must make a counter.
Bro, it have a PE of less than 4 right now. Less than 4. No. If you
It's
could
a
buy it
wicked
at if you
thing, you
could buy
know.
it at a PE of 10, that would be a steal. But right now that PE less than 4, you could do a offer at a PE of 10, 8, and that would be 100% profit for everybody who buys it now. And I don't know if the pensions would say yes, but then
Wait, 80 million ago, bro. Wait, 80 million.
yo, there are we could do an entire episode of NC. I don't even want to touch it no more. It's just I will say that Diane, you brought up something that I'd forgotten that Shay had mentioned, which was the pledging of the GHL shares.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll segue to that. Shay, what were you saying about the GHL share thing? Was your question there?
What was my question? I think you know what? I should probably look at the document properly
You're
first
talking about
before.
the Trinidad Guardian article.
Yeah.
100% of the shares
Was it
that
one? Was
NCB
it
controls
one?
is now pledged.
So that
Yeah.
US $300 million bond that NCB is in the market seeking, international market seeking, they are collateralizing the offer via their GHL holding. I mean, that's what the thing is for.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes. Yeah.
the funny thing is,
So
one of the funny things that I just a quick aside here. When you go through a rough time, one of the benefits that it does is that ow, ow.
Sorry.
Sorry, you really loud, Shay. Was that Shay or was that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that was Sebastian. No, sorry.
Okay. Sorry.
Mhm.
So one of the things that happens when you're going through like a rough time, I think about like if you take a loss or anything, you're reworking a portfolio, it becomes so much easier to do certain things
Mhm.
because you cut that psychological tie
Right.
to the thing. It becomes so much easier to make decisions. I'm thinking about how easy the decision to use this as collateral, knowing that the articles will come out, knowing that a lot will be said, how much easier it must be now. Like, all right, let them write. Yeah, all right. I'll collateralize it. Cool. It is what it's for, it's right. But it's the difference between the day one when you buy the Bimmer and you love it and it's everything, and day 743 where no, listen, I need to go. We need to go there. We'll drive the Bimmer. Yeah, well, you're going the road bad. That's what the car is for.
Mm-hmm.
You think yeah, but you think Muslims want a bank to buy?
Hmm. I don't know. I've never spoken to the gentleman.
Well, every time I've shared my theory on the whole consolidation of a certain demographic of Caribbean wealth under the TB stock umbrella. And I if you can take Atlantic hardware and spin it, I don't see why you can take KW and spin it, you can take TPJ and spin it. I don't see why you can't take and protect the biggest Caribbean bank that we have and cornerstone of the market, cornerstone of pensions, cornerstone of insurance, a space that you're already in big time.
Mm-hmm.
I think with fresh eyes, the personal debt could probably be worked out in some way, and NCB could become, as Donald Trump likes to say, great again. But I really think that type of a leadership shift might be good for both the bank, the market. So not for both, but for the bank, the market, and for the current majority shareholder. And it also gives NCB legs to live on into the future under great leadership. Because right now, I don't know if you see it, but I don't really see a structure that says NCB is in safe hands if something happens to MLC tomorrow morning. And I think the bank needs that, and the market would benefit from it being safe.
But Dan, that's an ownership situation.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying it can be, the change in ownership can be beneficial for everybody.
Yeah, but then when I say things like that, then that's me saying I want a different type of owner, in the sense of maybe a different structure around the ownership. And to me, it's hard for me to nitpick that. It's like saying I would like one person to own Grace. I mean like a strong one
look on
figure
it.
shareholder
Look on.
versus a company with a certain structure behind it.
Well, look on the move with if how would I say this now? Yes, I believe the benefit of fresh eyes and fresh thoughts from a leadership, a top level ownership and top level leadership could be a beneficial thing for the bank. That's my personal. I am not knocking MLC at all.
No, man.
Utmost respect, utmost respect, utmost appreciation for everything that he has accomplished as an individual and what he has allowed us to also accomplish and to learn from. So I'm not looking at it from that angle, but when, like, similar to when Randy said, when you get into that position where it becomes so easy to make a decision because you know that this is a life or death situation and it's something you just have to do because it just has to be done. I'm looking at it from the same lens where what's in the best interest of the asset, not what's in my emotional best interest, but in the best interest of the asset. And I think in an overall global perspective, if like what we saw a transfer of 27% of CHL under the Muscle umbrella recently. Sorry, let me not say that. Under the KW umbrella recently. Why am I saying this? That something similar in a move like that gives the bank greater support from the leadership and the guidance and the growth and the market becoming more interested in the thing and being more excited about it can be beneficial for MLC as well. Because if I owe 300 million and my shares are worth 100 million today, and something happens to those shares and they now are worth 3 times that, I am in a better financial position. I would use Barita as an example where when Barita was sold, the amount it was sold for was far less than what the remaining shares held by the former owners would have been after the whole thing went under new leadership and guidance. So a similar kind of perspective where the value you hold today is not being eroded. It is changing, but it's not being eroded. You're still a billionaire tomorrow after we're done with everything. It's just that we run it differently. And the debt thing goes away and you can continue doing what you need to do.
Okay.
So basically you're answering the question. You're saying yes, you think he should do that because you think under a different kind of leadership you'll be better off.
I think so, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay. And I'm not saying to give up your entire holding, but to reduce your holding down strategically, allow the remaining holding to appreciate in value so that you restore what you gave up in terms of the dollar value of your asset that you still hold.
I appreciate
I would
that
say
first.
I don't know that those are necessarily. So you're
Yeah.
the thing you want. The thing I.
Let's say you own a million shares today.
No, hold on. No, hold on. You have to explain it because I also have to think in terms of our time here. I get what you said was very clear. What I would say is that I think that maybe you're coming at this from just like many of us, you're Monday morning quarterbacking, right? We don't really know what all of the touch points of the decision that is
Yes.
being made on that
Because
side is, right?
the thing
There's
the
a
thing you just said sounds like
yeah.
if MLC lose some control, the price going back up.
No,
Which
that's not what because most government it can lose control. But it can be a situation where if it's done right,
uh I'm going to have maybe a more fulsome conversation in the grower group after this. I think it's a good point. I think there are points I'd like to say. Not everything I'd like to say publicly. I will say, however,
Long
that
time.
yeah, I will say, however, that the thing is that jewel in the crown is a gem.
Yeah.
It's and numbers wise, it we talk as if like there, for a certain point we kind of have to stop and go, is the bank, is the financial group doing badly?
Mhm.
Like, is it actually doing badly? I don't take 1 year of lowered profit as it doing badly per se. It depends on the why for that. But is the thing actually doing badly? If last year wasn't like their best year ever, they've equaled that profit performance in 2 quarters. Is the thing really doing badly? No, they did the APO, which has certainly helped them to seal in that lower share price. And there are other factors at play. There obviously there's other factors at play. And the thing is a hell of a jewel. Jewels, people always want a jewel. If you can't buy it or beg it, you might try to steal it. You pressure the owner to sell it. Lots of things can be happening there, and obviously are happening there. Um, I don't know if it's a clear cut, but I
Yeah.
agree with Dana in saying that you, Diane, obviously you have an answer, which is a fair answer on your part. You can't kill it for your opinion, which is that you think you'd be better run if it were being run by someone else.
Mhm.
I take that. I take that. That's a fair thing. I even threw in CHL. I mentioned a CHL, which you say, we've said that Mussins bought in. I thought it was Kingston Warriors that bought in. How Mussins drop in, bossy?
yeah, I corrected myself after that preemptive stuff. I'm sorry.
Preemptive thought. That's very telling. I think that's very telling.
Mhm.
I have my own theories on that too. But well, hey, we're in this game to predict. I like that. We're in this game to predict. I have my own predictions on it too. And guys heard about that last week, and I'll hear about it again this week if they ask. All right, we'll see. I have somebody who joined. I won't even lie, it was kind of accidental, and I'm hoping that it's not a troll. Firmament,
Yes, yeah, I'm not a troll.
Amen.
amen.
Big boss, what's up?
Yeah, I just had a question about Siboney, right?
You sound like
People,
Diane. Is this like Diane on another phone?
You sound very
right?
similar. I was laughing to myself about it.
No, there's a different person.
Oh yeah, we're joking. No problem. I can tell. I can hear Diane's baby in the background when he's talking, so no problem. You're saying you had a question
Yeah,
about
so
Siboney.
Siboney was on the market for a while, and people were buying it up, hoping that a buyer would come along.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's
And
what they were doing. I know I personally
Yeah, you're
for
right.
years have been saying that, but I don't know
Some
if that
people have
was the
said
general
that,
thing.
but the truth is I've heard the opposite. So yeah.
yeah, but wasn't that incredibly risky? You hoping that a buyer would come in and take over?
It was
What if
extremely
Yes, sir.
when you say risky,
That's
hold
a
on,
lot.
let's put it in perspective.
Mhm.
You say
yes,
extremely
but
risky. Let's say that risk, absolutely no risk, safe as houses, US debt is one. And trying putting your life savings and trying to win the lotto is 10. Where would you put extremely risky?
Yeah. Where do you put the Siboney decision?
I I'll put that at 10.
At a 10. Okay, cool. All right. So your question is,
Even lower.
was it extremely risky?
Yes,
Yeah.
Maybe. If you think of it that way,
That
maybe.
it's
Yeah.
also risky.
because mhm.
You know how much I love that conversation. But risk. It depends. It depends how deep you go. Meaning, are your life savings being put onto Siboney? Are you taking your last to put onto Siboney as the hope and pray, and you're not necessarily informed about
what can happen, and you don't have necessarily strong timelines on when it will happen, all of that. Yeah, definitely super risky. But
right? Because no one knew that someone would buy it, and
Well, I don't know about
there's
that.
a different. But then you say that. But then
Completely different thing.
in the face of me and Randy saying otherwise for such a long time, what would you say then?
I would say that you saying that would be an assumption. Oh, okay,
Agree.
because
Well, you're not wrong. It was an assumption.
It was an assumption.
It's also a prediction. So
It's a prediction, but it also has certain level of a certain level of information behind it, in the sense of, well, the company has they've spoken to it, they're speaking to it for so long. There's so much things behind it at the end of the day that they had to do it and all of that. But at the end of the day, you are right. We did not know. There was no why. There was nobody telling us, yeah, man, this happened. There was no government. The government wasn't saying, okay, we have a buyer lined up. That was not the case. So yes, there is a good amount of risk behind it. I agree.
right, and then no Dolphin Cove. That's a different situation. That's a
Really?
very
well, hold
yeah,
on. I want you to finish what you're saying though
Wait,
about
what's the question?
the
The
Siboney.
rating. Sorry about that.
about the
Your question was what? If it's risky and then what?
yes, it's risky because what if Siboney had filed for bankruptcy?
They never
Well,
filed.
I think
They're already
they're in just
bankrupt.
nothing. They're already bankrupt. They sold their last asset long.
Yeah,
For like I think
2018, I believe. They sold the last asset.
2015 or 17 or something like that. Yeah.
No, it was 2018, I believe.
2018, okay, yeah. They sold off the land and then at that point they had nothing.
Nothing.
And I invested even after that point.
Right, they had nothing. But did they file for bankruptcy though?
I don't know, but I don't think we really have bankruptcy in Jamaica like that.
But also,
We may, but it's not quite the same thing. But
there was nothing to save. There was no they had nothing left. It was
yeah,
a company with money to the money that was there was, we need to pay our expenses, and it wasn't much.
Oh,
So what? So I still don't understand the question though. Like,
yeah,
if
but
it's
yeah,
if it's
what are
risky,
you thinking
are they just
around it?
asking if it was risky, or is
right,
there
No, man, I
right.
think
So I was thinking that you would get paid last. But like,
in
I
the
was
event
thinking
of like it being wound up completely.
yes.
yeah,
Well, you wouldn't even get paid last. You wouldn't get paid because
you wouldn't get paid. There
it
was
didn't
nothing
have
there.
anything. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly risky to me.
It should.
It should. It was. It was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was. Yeah.
Yeah,
How did it work out?
but firmament.
No, no,
Work,
hold on, Dan. Hold on, Dan. Let him
I
talk.
hear
Let
what
him
I'm saying.
talk. How did it work out for a moment?
it worked out really well. It might
So
not have if
that's
it
how
did.
risk works. That's how risk works. So like people like me buying it at 12 cents and it's now at $1.15. It's 10x. Did it work out?
Yes, it did work out.
Was it worth the risk?
You could say that it was.
So, so in my opinion, you can't say after the fact. You cannot say. This is not to you only, from to Randy as well. You cannot say after the fact. You cannot have any uncertainty. Risk is before, so you are uncertain. So before anything happens, then yeah, you
There is
might.
risk, yeah.
But if it did work out, then yes, it was worth the risk.
Yeah.
There are certain things that, I mean, that can come into the conversation, opportunity cost and whatever. But at the end of the day, so meaning if 10x wasn't good enough for you, then it wasn't worth the risk, right? But if 10x is good enough for you, then it is worth it. It is worth the risk.
Right.
But
Yeah, I guess that's a personal conversation that
Yeah.
everybody
That's
everybody
that's exactly. Risk is a very. People speak about it in absolutes as if it's a static thing, but the truth is, risk is not
extremely
the same
personal.
across the board.
Yeah, it's extremely personal.
It's
Not just from tolerance, but also not just from emotional tolerance, but also from the perspective of financial tolerance.
Yep.
You know,
And actually, are you putting all your money on it, or you put a portion of the money that you said, I'm willing to lose X amount on the basis of a 10x. If it doesn't work out, then I have enough money left. Versus, here's then I taking life savings by selling mother house and putting up in a money and hoping and praying. If it don't work out, well, he's on the streets.
but if he had done that, wow.
But imagine exactly if he had done that, then I'll be talking different talk. I'm talking now. I'll be on here saying, "Boy, you know, see what they good to me, you know,
Yeah.
right?" So, yeah, yes, it's risky. It is more risk. It is more risk than many other things that are similar. Many other stocks, you could have bought many other stocks, and you are not at the position where you can lose everything or lose as much as if you put the money in Siboney.
Exactly. It's so it's a different perspective to look at it from it. But you mentioned Dolphin Cove. What's a Dolphin Cove thought that you had?
Yeah, what's Dolphin Cove thought?
All right, with Dolphin Cove, no, Dolphin Cove, you said that it was highly profitable, and yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if the creditor the creditor decides to take over Dolphin Cove
Mm-hmm.
and sell off the assets,
Mm-hmm.
or just run it for a couple of years and then sell off the assets, you'd probably be in the same position, because there would be a downturn in the business, and the business would probably eventually file for bankruptcy. All right.
I would.
So well, hold on.
I'm agree with you.
Let's look at that. Let's look at that.
Yeah, probably both is very
In
different.
a real way. Yeah. Let's say that you say, let's just go through it point by point. The creditor if the creditor were to like take it over, that's what you said, right?
Mhm.
Then if they were to either option A, run it for a few years, but option B, sell off some of the assets in order to recoup.
Right.
All right, so option A, how let's say they're running it for a few years, but you say like they're not really running it well, they're just running it to earn themselves, I guess.
Right. They're just running it to, get back their money,
How are they gonna get back their money?
Mm-hmm.
by keeping it in operation.
And then so it would make
By
profit, and then they would pay out some of that profit to themselves.
Yes, and they could
What's
be
that called?
raising the fees as well.
No, what's that called? A dividend. They'd have to pay themselves a dividend.
Because what they were getting, they wouldn't get the company as a whole. They're getting they're getting the bankrupt company's interest in the company. They're getting their shares. So they're getting the piece of the company that they got paid. So I lend you money, and you give me your shares in that company to pay it
Mm-hmm.
off. So it's not that you have Dolphin Cove overall. You have the person's interest in Dolphin Cove.
Yeah.
So if they were to run it, make profit, then they're not getting the dividends instead of the guy that owed them money.
But you did make a good second point. You said they could
Yes.
also raise their management fees, which is true.
Mm-hmm. Which is true. Because us.
Which means that there's an
It might
element
turn
of
out.
risk.
Yep.
Mhm.
Risk is the hallmark of profit, my brother. If we knew for a fact what would happen, nobody would be willing to pay more for the thing.
Yes.
Risk
So
is the hallmark of profit.
the biggest thing you have to determine as an investor is what risk you're willing to take. You're investing against anything you do with your money is a risk. Is investment. You're investing. If you put money in a bank account, you're still investing. It's just a very low risk for a very low reward. So if this sounds too risky for you, then understand that that's where you're operating. This is too risky for me. It's not a case of I cannot throw out an investment on the basis of it having risk.
Yeah.
The whole reason there's profit behind these things is because there is risk. It's because at the end of the day, people have different ideas of what will happen there. People have different expectations and people have different wants. And then people are willing to pay different amounts on the basis of those wants. Which is where the value conversation comes in. You bought very low and you realize that the thing they're likely to do would yield me more money than I pay for it. So you work with it. It might not work out. That's just the truth of it.
Yeah. If you're sure about it working out, you wouldn't pay as much.
You wouldn't. Yeah, exactly.
The things that people are sure about, they tend not to even sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whoever sold 90 million worth of NCB today, if an announcement had happened yesterday that Bank of America is coming to Jamaica and they plan to buy MLC's share of NCB, they wouldn't have sold those shares. The second you hear that something is good or you're sure about, you don't do it, right? I'd encourage you at this point, anybody else who wants to understand this better, to consider doing grow, consider doing the investments where I teach at workshop. It is worth it. I used to be hesitant about telling people like it's worth. I have no question. Not only is it worth it, it's undercharged right now. It is worth it because it shifts your entire understanding and view of investing, not of investing on the JSE, of investing. And then of course that includes the JSE. But it shifts the entire thing for you, and it allows you to start to see profit where everybody else sees doom. Dolphin Cove, just to cap that same point off that you made. But you said suppose it also teaches you grow means grow rich with research. It teaches you how to understand the thing, how to look for the research. Like I oftentimes don't pay as much attention to the news as most people because the news is almost always behind the curve. Like I never, like you can read the same things that they read to write articles, and and there's profit found in interpreting that news better, understanding what it's actually saying.
That's a big deal, you know.
A massive deal.
Remember that the news is somebody speaking about something they either heard or read somewhere else. It's not a primary source in most cases.
Exactly, and it's going through a filter. And they have that story about everybody has one area that they know a lot about. Every now and then a news story comes out talking about something in that area, and you read it and it have a lot of the elements there, but they put it all together wrong, and the interpretation what they put in forward, like that's not how it works. That's not how it really go. And then when you read another news story about something else, you believe that thing completely. Well, I can tell you about the stock market. I can tell you about investment. I can tell you about business. The news is not very, especially Jamaican news, no knock, but it's not very accurate. It doesn't always hit the point. And like I said, just like the politics thing, the one place that you're not going to get the real story is in the news, right? So not to say you shouldn't read the news, but what you should be doing is ensuring that your interpretation is extremely sharp, or all you need is common sense. You already have it. Because think about it. So I use the same Dolphin Cove example with you for a moment. You said, going through the points again, suppose the creditors take it over, right? That's part one.
Right.
Here's what the research shows you. Who are the creditors?
Who are the creditors? The debt collectors?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think
who are the creditors in Dolphin Cove's case?
yeah.
Mm-hmm. In the actual case, yeah.
Oh, I'm guessing the people that want their money back from the parent company.
So you see, just not knowing who they are, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But just not knowing who they are immediately puts you behind anybody who goes through the trouble of knowing who they are, right?
Also increases your risk.
It increases your risk, right?
Yeah.
The counter to risk is not luck, it's knowledge, right? So who is actually in debt? Dolphin Cove is not in any debt. Dolphin Cove is good to go. Dolphin Cove is a jewel, is one of the jewels, one of the shiniest jewels in the Dolphin company's crown. The Dolphin company is the actual company that is going through the bankruptcy, right? See if I can do this in like 30 seconds. I will. So the Dolphin Cove, the company that is actually going through the trouble is the Dolphin company, we'll call it that. And the debtors in this case are a group. There are a lot of players involved in the Dolphin company's whole bankruptcy. But the debtors are being represented by a consortium that really put themselves together, who, because it's such a large group, right? It's such a large group, and it's in multiple countries and multiple jurisdictions and multiple types of businesses, blah blah blah. They're being represented by a set of lawyers. And just to point it out, I'm looking for something to show you. So just to point out, yeah, they're also going through bankruptcy in more than one country. So they're going through bankruptcy proceedings in the US and also in Mexico, right? Um,
Uh,
I don't know how to give you the simple version of it. The simplest version I can give you is this. The lawyers who are gonna be eating in this thing mostly. The Dolphin Company in the Chapter 11, which is the bankruptcy, they are being represented by Odin Global Advisors that was appointed to help Robert Wagstaff, who is the chief restructuring officer. Eduardo Albor is a guy who used to be the controlling party in the Dolphin Company that got into trouble, right? What's the name of the gentleman who just got named onto Dolphin Cove's board of directors, along with the original founder?
oh, I don't know. Was one, I know that one of the
Even
guys was had a altercation
forget that. You
with
were
the
told
staff,
in the news that one of the guys had an altercation.
and also Dolphin Cove released a statement about it. That altercation.
The previous owners of Dolphin Cove released a statement about it. And I'm not saying it's true or not true because I wasn't there, but I can tell you that when you hear those things, you should sprinkle salt because the guys who said it was true are no longer in the company. They're off the board. But that's not the point I'm making here. And the guy you're talking about is Stafford Burrows, who started the Dolphin Cove in Jamaica. The other gentleman who was put on the board of Dolphin Cove July 1 is a gentleman named Mr. Stephen Robert Strom, who is of Odin Global Advisors, who was one of the people who are in the restructuring. So the debtors have already come in. You get me? And who did they come in with? The founder, the previous founder, who is quoted in the news, if you believe that, as saying he's willing and has backers behind him who are willing to help him buy back Dolphin Cove if the former owners couldn't hold it. See, they couldn't hold it, right? So tell me, were you excited more about Apple when Steve Jobs was kicked out or when Steve Jobs came back and did the iPhone?
When he came back.
Were you excited more about Dolphin Cove when the founder sold it off to a Mexican or when he kicked the Mexican out and came back?
I said when he came back, because that sounds like he wants to take a controlling stake in the company and keep
He
it going.
already has. The guy who owned the controlling stake can't pay him bills. So he's now on the way. Not only on the way out, he's as far as we're concerned, but Dolphin Cove, he's out. And if you go a little deeper into it, if you check what the Odin Global Advisors and the rest of the restructuring companies have said, that their mandate is to, in order to pay the debts, you have to sell assets. Dolphin Cove is one of the most wonderful assets that they have. They also have a lot of real estate all over. And they're looking for something like this. You want to get to very quickly. You don't want to drag it out too long. So, the land might cost 50 million and you probably can get it sold for 70. But here's this guy and he's offering us 45 right now in cash. You might as well just take the 45, right? Because remember, it's not our land. We just want to get 45 to pay back the debt. And the debt is really only 30, right? You probably take that deal, right?
Right.
No. If the guy offering you the 45 is also friends with the lawyer who is in charge of selling the land, that sounds like a very smooth deal that can happen, right?
Right.
And Dolphin Cove shares were sold down heavily on the back of this bankruptcy news. You understand why I spoke about it as something that I'm excited about?
Uh yeah, I guess you thought it would recover quickly.
No, I didn't think it recovered quickly. It did recover quickly, and it cashed out, and I thought it would fall more, and it did, and I cashed back in, and I thought it would go up a little bit, and I cashed out, and I thought it would fall again, and I cashed back in, and I'm still cashing in now. And you know what's going to happen? In 2024, the Jamaican government, who knew that elections would have to be in 2025, told the Port Authority of Jamaica to accelerate their repairs of the Ocho Rios cruise port. I don't know if you can see my screen. I'm showing all the articles I'm talking about. And this article I'm showing is from December 2024, and it was that they're following the severe storm damage. It's a storm damage. I know it was all. I think the storm was one of the boats that hit it. They're expected to restore the facility to full operation by when? July 2025. What month are we in?
In July,
2025, right?
right? So
So
if
when
Dolphin Cove,
when the same news tells you that cruise ships are back, I don't even know if the cruise ship port is open. I haven't gone there at all. Right? But when the news tell you that the cruise ship port is open, and everybody remembers that it is in within a stone's throw of the if you're very strong, a stone's throw of Dolphin Cove, and the tourists tend to go there a lot. And when you hear that there are more routes being added to the Monty, more people coming in, and all those people want to come to Jamaica and swim with the dolphins and buy the $5 water and enjoy all that stuff. Are you gonna be sad if you own Dolphin Cove, or are you gonna be happy? I can tell you, as somebody who owns Dolphin Cove, I plan to own Dolphin Cove, then I'm gonna be happy. And I think people are gonna be willing to rush and buy Dolphin Cove shares at a price that is higher, in my personal view, than the current price of $14. And that's not counting the fact that Dolphin Cove pays consistent dividends. So I could be wrong. Let's say they're just going to go with your option
That
A
is the
and
risk.
run the company and bleed it to try and get money out. I suspect that they're going to try and get money out through the fee that they have, and also through dividends. Dolphin Cove is one of the strongest dividend payers on the market in terms of actual yield. I think at this point they're currently, I think, top five in terms of actual yield, top five or four on the market, at least year to date, right? Dolphin Cove is actually, in my personal view, a gem that I couldn't pay. I certainly didn't have any influence in it. I couldn't pay the news to write the bad news articles that they did. I'm just happy that they did. Like, I'm sure somebody was very happy when they saw NCB say, "Hey, APO." They're like, "Oh my God, I couldn't plan this, man. I'm gonna get it for cheap." Um, and so, yeah, wrapping up your whole point into a ball and telling you about yes, it's risk. Risk is a hallmark of profit. If you're absolutely sure, you don't pay a lot. And when it's really valuable and you're absolutely sure, you don't sell. But when it seems that there is some ambiguity in there, then you hold on to it, or you're willing to sell it for cheaper, right? And those of us who are able to just move a little bit further past that and think it through logically are the people who tend to benefit heavily from things like this. So I want you to come back on BrickTalk in a couple of months, and remember Dolphin Cove, and tell me if you think that investment worked out. Because Dolphin Cove only earns US dollars, and the share price right now is 14.08. And I feel like
you feel like it has more to go.
I'm betting my money on it having a lot more to go. I'm betting my money on it having a lot more to go. And we don't pretend invest here. We talk about what we're doing. So I have
Yeah.
money in there, and I buy more, and I plan to sell, and I plan to buy. And if it spiked too much, I'll be selling. So if it spiked too much too quickly, I might sell so I can get some of that money, because I suspect it might fall later on, and I'll be the same one coming back in and buying it. And I've held Dolphin Code for years because, again, strong dividends. The dividend yield on this is better than Trans Jamaica in many regards, at least better than Trans Jamaica, or around, I think when I was measuring it the last time, it was around a small 1% off, depending on how you measure it. I measure it from the perspective of the money that comes to your pocket. Um, yeah,
But I'd have to buy a lot of it, and right now
I,
trying to make it cheaper.
you definitely
Yield,
need to grow.
yield is not necessarily based on that. You're not looking at the dollar value of the
You're
share.
looking at how
You're
much
looking
you're
at
getting.
how much I'm getting relative to how much I paid for it. So
Yes.
if I look, it's best to look at it in terms of percentages. So if Transjamaica and Dolphin Cove were paying the same exact dollar figure as a dividend, then yes, Transjamaica is better because Transjamaica's price is lower.
Mm-hmm.
So if Transjamaica is 360 and Dolphin Cove is 14, and they're both paying $1 in a dividend, then definitely Transjamaica is better. But that's not the case. They're
At
paying
all.
different amounts. So you're looking at how much money do I pay per share and how much dividends do I get per share.
And if that's a little confusing, like I said, come and do the Grow course, and I assure you that it will be worth your while. You will learn a significant amount. You'll understand that, and you'll understand why Dolphin Cove is such a gem. And you'll also, I'll also personally tell you why it is that if you give me $1 million now, tell me Dolphin Cove or Trans Jamaica, I'd put the whole lot in Dolphin Cove right now, every day. Me personally, that's not advice. I'm not saying that's the best thing or the right thing or the right thing for you. It's just the best thing for my pocket. And I
And
think that there'll
I
be a lot
believe
more.
there is tied to what you came in with in terms of risk. Like,
Hmm.
what's the risk you are willing to think? And as I said, which is personal, you might
Hmm.
understand a lot more about Trans Jamaica than you do Dolphin School. Like Randy understands a lot about Dolphin Cove, so he can make decisions around it that you probably can't because you're not as informed as him on the same topic.
Yeah,
So the risk for Randy is not the same risk for you, even with the same
at
amount.
all.
He can navigate it and move. He can see what's happening and make a decision on that much easier than you can.
Yeah, but it's not that I'm some super special. I mean, I think I'm pretty damn good at this investing thing, but it's not like you can't do it too. Hundreds of people have learned to do it. You can learn. You already know more than enough to do it. You just may be looking at it from the wrong perspective.
Uh,
Yeah, that's all.
I wanted to say one last thing about the state of the market.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that it's not in a good state right now.
In
Mm,
terms of
things bad.
Yeah, things are really bad right now because as you
In what
said,
way?
as, as you said, people are not able to do what they were doing, the things that they were doing before to make money.
Oh, I never said that.
Or you didn't say that.
No, no, no.
no,
I
I think
see. I
you're
should tell you.
misquoting the thing I said earlier, where
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was saying action. The action you take it cannot always be the same at every state, every point in the market. No
Right.
market works like that.
Yeah. The
But
market, I should
people,
tell you, we're biased. The market, as far as I'm concerned, is great. Every year, I do my first advance score for the year is how I think the year will go. But the last 2 or 3 years, it's been spot on. The market is great. It's amazing. It's just, as long as you're not looking to think people were doing in 2016, it's great. The IPO
Yeah.
must come
So
out
the
at a
market will change. It's just that you must then look at it and then your action will not be the same because things have changed. But your view, the advantage you take on the market, information you take in, that's and the way you perceive it, that's typically what should be static. Or how
but
I look at the market, how I view what can get me the money because I understand how money is made in the market. That will not change. And what causes stock prices to go up, that doesn't change. But at the end of the day, your action behind it. You can't just get up and buy an IPO like you did to make 200% within a month, like 2-3 years ago. That's what's not the case.
right. All right, people are still making money, but would you say that they're still making that money at the same rate and as much money as they did before?
No, and I think it's still there. I would say no, but I don't think the market is bad because of that. I think people's approach to the market might be bad because, again, if you're trying to do the same thing you were doing in a different market condition, that is not feasible. You can't say the market has changed and I will do the same thing continuously, and then you upset, and then in a day you come and say, "Boy, the market is bad because I haven't remodeled my actions accordingly."
And then I started to put more weight on a company making money more consistently. Like how Chan Jamaica it practically prints money, and companies like SOS, I think,
SOS. No, I think so. I think you're thinking about that wrong because then think
yes,
about
yeah,
it.
yes, SOS.
It's trans.
They had a downturn, and they used to pay. Well, last year they paid no, I think it was the year before. They paid 2 cents, and now they're paying $0.02 as a dividend. So they're paying much less right now.
Wait, what do you mean when you said you say you specifically have started to put more emphasis on a company making more money consistently?
Yes, because when they do that, they're able to do a lot of the the fancy things that causes the stock price to move.
I would say no. I would say, I mean, generally, it sounds good in the sense of yes, a company making more money, companies making money consistently. Yes, you want that, right? For any company you own. But at the end of the day, I don't think you necessarily understand what happened with Transjamaica then. Transjamaica became a